Well, it's a Monday morning. Thank you very much for making some time to join us. Share company, good company with us here on Wake Up Africa. This is Dominion TV. We're live on all socials on My Dominion TV. Well, my prayer for you is found in Psalms 90, verse 14. And it's also saying that, Lord, satisfy us with your steadfast love every morning, so much so that we can live the days of our lives here on earth. And that's what I pray, that God will satisfy you with his steadfast love even as you go out there. To hustle once again, to try another time, to write that contract, to sign that contract, to ask for that contract, to go on that job of yours, no matter how small it is, remember that the latter will be greater. My name is Kokulumo. Welcome indeed.
And my name is Biadala. I was really taken away. Did you preach last night? Hallelujah. Oh, yeah. Okay, because of insights, you're working in purpose anointing. It's working for you. Yesterday. Oh, my God. But I think it's working for you. Well, yeah, like Koku said, let's try again. Let's do it again. We might fail at it, but you see, a saint is a sinner who falls and gets back up. So we're doing this again. It's a new day, a new week. How about we try those goals again? And I'm very sure that this time around, it's going to work. So today, we're going to be having the weather. We celebrate birthdays with you. Okay, some special birthdays, coming up. And then also, there's that conversation. Last week, we started to talk about legacy, especially for the women, and how to rope the men in, so that we have a beautiful blend of, the African continent standing up, supporting each other. But today, we want to know, what next?
Yeah, what next? What's next? Living legacy is what we want. I mean, building businesses that transform into enterprises. And so how do we live the legacies is one of the conversation we're going to be having. Also, we'll share with you news-making headlines around the world. Then also invite our guests who share perspectives with us by way of news review segment. And so it's a whole bouquet, it's a full bouquet for you as presented to you every Monday to Friday at 6:30 a.m. till 10 a.m. Welcome to the show indeed. You are a special guest.
Right, so let's settle for the weather report.
I want to welcome you to Wake Up Africa Morning Show. If Africa has ever needed to wake up, it's now. I promise you that this Wake Up Africa Morning Show will impact your life. It will illuminate you. The Bible said that thy word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. You need this insight. You need the understanding required to make all the difference in all of our lives. I want you not just to tune in to the Wake Up Africa Morning Show, but I want you to be a sponsor. I want you to partner with us as we take this Wake Up Africa Morning Show, the inspiration it brings, the impact across all Africa, to homes, to individuals, impacting lives. Join us to make a difference. It is said and believed that in this life, what you do to change the life of others matters than what you acquire for yourself. It is believed that it's not what you have, what you possess that matters, but the difference you made in the life of others. I believe as you partner with Wake Up Africa Morning Show, you'll be joining us to make a difference in the life of so many people out there. Partner with us, and every time we touch a life, you are blessed. Every time we impact a family, you'll be remembered for good. God bless you. Looking forward to partnering with you and tuning in to Wake Up Africa Morning Show.
Okay, now you heard the Papa. Good morning, Papa. Let's get ready for the weather. The weather report today is going to be given to us by the weather prophet, Mr. Solomon. Good morning, Mr. Solomon. Mr. Solomon.
The Princess One, good morning.
Sure. Good morning. How was your weekend?
By God's grace, I'm doing good.
Fantastic. Take us away. What should we expect by way of weather today here in Ghana, if possible, some other parts of Africa?
All right. Thank you very much. And let me first greet our cherished viewers and listeners of Wake Up Africa on Dominion TV this morning. It's the beginning of another brand new week, Monday, 14 days into the month of April 2025. And we are looking at how the weather will fare for us within the next 24 hours. It will be partly cloudy across the entire country within the entire country, with mist and fog patches forming over the mountainous and forest areas early this morning. As the day progresses, the sunny conditions will dominate most parts of the day across all sectors of the country without any significant rainfall activities across the entire country, except few places in the western south region and the eastern region, which may have 30% chance of isolated localized rainfall activities late afternoon into the evening hours. The state of the sea will be calm today, so fisher folks can navigate peacefully on the sea for their daily activities. Temperatures will range from 25 degrees Celsius to 33 degrees Celsius in the afternoon over the coastal belt, 25 degrees Celsius in the morning to 33 degrees Celsius in the afternoon over the middle sectors, 23 degrees Celsius in the morning to 36 degrees Celsius in the afternoon over the transition sectors, and 25 degrees Celsius to 40 degrees Celsius in the afternoon over the northern sectors of the country. There wouldn't be any significant rainfall activities across all sectors of the West African sub-region today. The sun will dominate most part of the day across all sectors of the sub-region. So this is how the weather will fare for us for the next 24 hours over the entire country. However, should there be any significant change, I'll alert you for listeners and viewers to be well informed and be aware. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Weather Prophet. May your day be good and your week be better. All righty, so there you heard it. The sun is going to dominate today. Sun is going to be the class preferred for today's weather. So you want to be very careful, wear more cotton clothes so that you can manage the sweat and all of that. We're ready for birthdays. I'm itching closer to my birthday and I'm excited about it. I'll tell you sometime about my birthday date, but for now, let's celebrate these people on a beautiful, bright Monday morning. Happy birthday.
Yeah, it's your birthday. It's your day, one day out of 365. It's your day, one day out of 365. It's your birthday. It's your day, one day out of 365. It's your day, one day out of 365. Happy birthday. Ooh, to you. Happy birthday. Yeah. To you. Happy birthday to you.
That's by way of birthdays. Wherever you are celebrating your birthday, we want to celebrate with you as well. Do well to send these wishes to us. We will be glad to share with the world as well. Make sure that you are with us as always, and make sure that you can also send it via our socials. And
wait, whose birthday is it that you don't want to share? Because as though when he came to, like, he wanted to now get us the next day, but it's like, we are not going. Like, is it your birthday? Is it your girlfriend's birthday?
No.
Is it someone else's birthday?
But there are some, over the weekend, especially Saturday was an eventful space for me.
Yeah.
First off, I had to attend Reverend Mark Iamlade's mother's funeral.
Oh, yeah.
And, so wherever you are, once again, our condolences to you. Then, of course, later in the day, one of our own here at Action Chapel, Psalm 1, also got married. And so we met Auntie Vicky. Auntie Vicky is one of the Let's Talk About It, the show, and of course inside Auntie Vicky Dixon, who spoke about someone who's been watching us, Reverend Ogbami Tete of previously of Security Exchange Commission. I mean, you've said that your channel is always on Dominion TV, and so wherever you are, we want to say good morning to you. And I also met a man at Reverend Amlade's funeral. His name is Mr. Hudson Mauto Adipa. He's the president of the Men's Fellowship, West Volta Presbytery, EP Church of Ghana. And so wherever you are, Cephas was the one who asked me to do this. So wherever you are, Mr. Adipa, good morning as well. And then I met also a woman who says, I've been watching all of you, and so good work. And so
Auntie excited.
At Auntie Aquele's funeral repast. And so wherever you are, I didn't get your name, but good morning, I know you're watching.
Right, so that's what was missing. Koku just couldn't have gone up without, acknowledging these people. Busy weekend, but let's get on with another very special birthday. Today, our heart is excited. We're thankful to God for the life of Michael Bamiloye Ekaro Ekasa. All right. So good. Wow. Michael Bamiloye. If you were a lover of Mount Zion ministries or movies, or if you've ever seen a real Christian Nigerian movie, this man's brain has something to do with it. And he's a great actor. I remember when I was really young, my mom would make us watch, all these very wild Christian movies. And this man was either a bishop or he was almost always sacked from his house. But he has, I think he's one of the actors that have, just stood up for God, not doing circular stuff. And so happy birthday to you. I can even say Reverend on the screen. Michael Bamiloye, may the Lord bless you. And as you're using your gift to expand his kingdom, may he expand your territory, and then may your days be better than before. So Mount Zion Ministries. Okay.
I understand there's a movie also coming up at 1 p.m. The Mount Zion movies show at 1 p.m. And so Recitation is the title of the movie.
I see.
And so you need to catch it at 1 p.m. today, right? Let's now get ready to share with you news making headlines from around the world and here in Ghana as well. Stay with us. Let's start off with the very first news. Law enforcement agencies can arrest, search with or without warrants. That's according to the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Well, it was not said by the man, it was said by the Director of Strategy, Research and Communications Division at the Office of the Special Prosecutor, Mr. Samuel Apia Dako, was clarified that he went on. For those of you who want to know the context of this particular one, you can just search the law, Section 10 of the Criminal and Other Offences Procedure Act 1960, Act 30. So Section 10 of Act 30 is what he talks about. I mean, that has to do with the Reverend who is and all that. Yeah.
But my take is, if I get it, even if you don't come with a warrant and all of that, there's a reason we have uniforms. So that when I see a soldier, I can identify with you. When I see a policeman, so give us they shouldn't come up looking like I don't know. They come in Rambo style. That's not. So it could be official. I mean, until this came out, most of us didn't know. We thought it was illegal to just kind of badge in. But even if you shouldn't have warrants and all of that. Present yourself. Give us a humane, attachment to it.
Right.
Don't come up yanking people out of their regular lives because you're doing your job.
Right.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. I do.
So let's not be scared because somebody works with national security.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Anyways.
Okay, now Feed Ghana program. I don't know if this has anything to do with planting for food and jobs under different names.
No.
But Mahama launches Feed Ghana program to tackle food insecurity and reduce imports. This was part of one district, one factory, and then
the Feed Ghana?
When you read what Feed Ghana should achieve,
right,
you can actually fix it into other programs that were,
okay,
assist.
maybe the one that has to do with during a Champions regime. So Operation Feed Yourself, where backyard garden and then institutional garden. That's all Feed Ghana is all about. Where you having a house and having a space, plant something. Then schools, tertiary, secondary.
Yeah, my point is we started to have this conversation, about 2-3 years ago. We just put it under different names. That's all.
Okay.
Ask Reverend Dr.
Okay, maybe I will. Because what I know for the Planting for Food and Jobs was just the issue of making sure that fertilizers and, of course, seeds, mostly, that was it. And under this, your backyard. So those ones are targeting farmers at all levels.
Okay.
The Planting for Food and Jobs.
But this is more personal.
Yeah, more like it says when you go to back in the day where if you want to prepare something, all you go to do is the backyard thing. I think it's long overdue for some of us. There's a space there. I have to take care of it.
Wait, did you have to wait for Feed Ghana?
Oh no! I mean, when I was on radio, this started. Indeed, we brought a cousin of mine, wherever you are, Victor's Sabute. He does. I told you that thing of does a sack thing, where so just in sacks you can plant a lot of things, even around your wall. You don't need space. Around your wall, you can plant those things. They're very fresh vegetables. Showed me a lot of them that can stay for long without refrigerating.
But I don't know how this. Okay, well, it's a good idea. I love it. But we have housing systems now where everywhere is tiled.
Yeah, that's why I just brought in the sack. So there's no excuse.
Right?
Yeah, there's no excuse.
Would it thrive? Would it
will
give us the...
What are you saying? Maybe one of these days...
Because you said backyard now. Everybody's thinking...
No. And that's why I said, even for the sack, it could be just around your wall. So they do it in a way that it's just... So when you get out, just around your wall, the sacks are there. And they plant the things in there.
And it's food.
Actually, it's not easy. So you don't need even soil. You have a tiled home. That's no excuse. You have to plant.
And that's some education.
Yeah. But maybe one of these days, he's traveled UK, US. One of these days, Victor should be able to come to the studio to help us understand.
We can, because if it's not your own house.
Oh yeah, even where he was.
Most people don't live in their own houses here in Accra. So you need a whole lot of permission.
It's still no excuse.
That's my point. Okay, Minister assures Ghana Water Company Limited of quality raw water as clamped down on Galamsey intensifies. I don't know if we know that water getting white after being brown does not necessarily take away the heavy metals that were exposed to it.
I'm sure the regional minister should know that.
A long time. So no, I don't know whether this gives hope or it doesn't. But look, let's give us real time something, because we don't want promises at this time. We don't. The effect of Galamsey, it doesn't even go away in like 2 minutes. We're talking about metals that will take about 30, 40 years to die out naturally. Before we now get water that is drinkable, and we wouldn't have to spend much more time treating it, irrespective of the color. That's a wild conversation, so please, it's not about the color of the water, it's about what is inside the water. Water can be white, but you can't drink it. I mean, you shouldn't drink it, right? Yeah.
Well, we'll pray for the regional minister to fix it.
Yeah. Fix it.
National Road Safety Authority orders 21-day removal of billboards from footbridges and overpasses in Greater Accra.
Thank you.
He's gone on there to do it. Indeed, they didn't have to take the National Road Safety Authority to do this.
But somebody had to do it.
The assemblies know their work. So the National Road Safety Authority is now writing to assemblies to take the 21-day period or ultimatum serious and do the needful. It didn't have to. That's why I said, we don't even need mavericks. We just need people who just know at least 40% of their job and wants to do it and are committed to do it.
Right.
Because
that's the thing.
The point really is about what do you do in the assembly, really? What do you do? Almost all of these things are under, so let's see how it goes. The 21-day. It's obstructing a lot of people just climbing
it's high time. I mean, we still have some very political billboards around. I mean, that thing is over. It's clear.
And the National Road Safety Authority, one would have wished that, we cannot reach out these people. Otherwise, if it were a very good system, we will know who made them to fix these things. And ask them to come and remove it so that it's not at our cost.
Yeah. And another thing I've seen with some of these shops, I don't know if they ask or seek permission, but I've seen a number of people who erect all the signposts and stuff like that without seeking proper permission. But I mean,
anything goes.
Anything goes. Brown paper fixes it.
I know.
Right? But let's do the needful.
That's it. So wish the National Road Safety Authority all the best, especially even as we expect the assemblies to also abide.
I've directed the suspension of business class foreign travels at Ghana Shippers Authority. Professor Jampo says.
Good move. That's just according to him, he believes that he's the only CEO that travels economy. And so it's just by way of cutting costs, especially in an already cash-strapped space like the Ghana Shippers Authority. And so we wish him all the best. I pray that other CEOs also follow. Economy and business class, they all get into the same place. So, you'll get there.
One gets there first.
No.
When the play comes,
you'll get there. So let's all emulate what the CEO of the Ghana Shippers Authority, Professor Jampo, Ransford Jampo, is doing. Gun attack in Bindi relieves 1 dead and burned.
Burned?
Yes. After that, they burnt the body and the motorcycle, which is obviously premeditated. So it's not like as though it was just accidentally shot and all of that. So, and they are saying, according to reports, it could be allegedly linked to the Boku chieftaincy conflict and all of that. So,
two policemen were actually gunned down after the IGP went and left.
Right.
I mean, so then you would question, okay, so what happened? You only listened to the IGP. He left and you just went back to being yourselves.
The political undertone the intransigence, the stubbornness, the people themselves and their unwillingness to deal
Yes,
with
to
issues
yield to
is
this
what
peace.
is bringing these. And as much as people would want to score, I can't imagine myself using my people to score cheap political points.
Right.
I can't imagine. Like, it's unconscionable.
But yours is, has to do with probably credibility.
Because look,
what
my
you want to
sister
build.
from Tong or the central or the southern part of the Volta region, we are all connected, not on political line. Because when you find you and I sitting here, they might say we are related.
That's right.
So how much of concern would that not be for me if we have to fight on political lines or chieftains, like where I have to see you destroy your family, kill you, burn you? I can't.
When we're just like
It's
neighbors.
unconscious. Like, even I can't do that to a Togolese or do that to a Nigerian.
Right.
How much more my own people? I sit down and say, maybe this is spiritual, because I really can't understand. I really can't understand. But hey, anyways.
Content classification will require film producer license from May 1st, National Film Authority says.
So this has been there. The content classification is very, very important. Where you classify the contents
Of your production.
exactly based on whether or not on a lot of lines, whether 16, whatever it is, what it is it an advert? It's there, but because the system was not running before the authority, where we find people just throwing things in and all of that. So
Were there
this
not
is going to be
officers here?
met, huh?
Were there no officers here? Were there no people in these offices?
Oh, I mean, you can cut her some slack. The authority was just established about either the first or second term of the Akufo-Addo regime. So, I mean, there were a lot of things that were being attended to. So it's continuum. So governance is continuum. And so it's still the same thing. Okay. So we pray that it will not have the pushback, because a lot of people are going to be very uncomfortable with this particular thing, because they just want to do whatever it is. So we have to support them and say, people must not antagonize the authorities of the National Film Authority, so that we can do the right thing. So we have to support it, educate the people as well, so that they get onto the bandwagon.
Great. Good regulation.
Let's now do some international news as Brice Oligui Nguema wins Gabon presidential election with 90.35% of the vote. So this particular guy was the one who ousted Ali Bongo.
Yes.
He's a military man. Look, he is a military man. What I'm saying, the reason why I'm saying he's a military man is that he just sought for leave. He's on leave from the military. He's not resigned, whatever. And he has a 9-year term. Is it 9? Yeah, I guess so. 9 to be president. So the understanding is that after president, he could go back and take the uniform. And someone laughed, and somebody said it in a funny way, so that he could finish serving as civilian,
And go
a military man who is on leave, civilian, go back, pick the uniform, and come back and do another one.
But my point is, for
for
somebody to win that, but that's like over a landslide.
The other guy just had 3%. The rest of the opposition parties had 1%. They couldn't even cross the 1% mark.
Which means there's a communique here. People loved that he came through, did what he did.
We just have to speak to people.
Yes. I mean, because for people to vote for you this much, well, we can also look at probably if there was some, rigging or whatever, we can look at that. Yeah. But for this 90%. Much victory.
Congratulations to him. For me, the only challenge I have with you is that you are on leave. Senior, you should have just resigned.
No.
I don't understand this.
Once a soldier, always a soldier.
What kind of no. Anyway.
Have you ever heard that?
Yeah, of course. It does not mean you should take a leave to see a president and come back.
How I wish I'll take a 10-year leave.
Can you imagine? Anyway, that's just by the way.
Congratulations to him.
Congratulations to him.
Yes. Okay. Dozens flee deadly RSF attacks in North Darfur as campers suffer heavy losses.
Continues. The fleeing continues. The attacks continues. Who will stop this?
Kwaku, who will take care of these women
As I've always
and
stated.
these children?
As I've always stated, nobody. Their fate is in their hands, and God is the one that takes care of them.
There's a reason why God gives leaders.
Yeah.
Even his own nation, he gave Moses.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
what is this?
Well, we'll pray. Let's keep praying for them. That's why when you wake up, don't just pray for your family. Pray for the nations across Africa. Pray for the nations across the world. Any of your relatives, even if they are not your relatives, we are one people.
Right.
So pray for them. Pray for Sudan. Pray for DRC. Pray for Kenya. Pray for Ghana. Pray for Boku. Pray for the peace of the world because it concerns you. It does. It does. Anyways. Let's go to Tanzania now. Tanzania's main opposition party, Chadema, disqualified from election. We listen, we don't judge. Next story, sir. Obviously, I'm not sure. U.S. pastor kidnapped during church service in South Africa.
What could be the reason for it? Okay, I'm thinking that it doesn't have anything to do with Trump and,
Oh no!
there's
please.
no
leave Trump out
also-
of this.
I mean, that would be the very first thing that would come into my mind.
Oh really?
When I see a story like this, did you see how they put it? U.S. pastor kidnapped during church service in
South Africa.
Thank you very much.
Wow. Anyways, an American pastor has been kidnapped by armed men after they stormed his church. So in South Africa, local authorities say Josh Sullivan has been conducting a service at Fellowship Baptist Church in Motherwell, a township in Cabera in the Eastern Cape, on Thursday evening when 4 armed and masked male suspects entered. The men stole 2 phones before fleeing the church. The 45-year-old silver Toyota Fortuner. So they even took him in his own car. Wow, interesting.
What a dastard.
Well, it doesn't just have to have a rule between South Africa. Already there's some tension between South Africa
Yes.
and States of America. So they should just treat this as criminal, as simple as that. So you don't attach anyone.
But there has to be a reason for that. That's what we really need to find out. Wando pipelines in Nigeria's oil-rich Bayelsa state hit by sabotage attacks.
The long and short of this is that those the saboteurs, they are not the ones who bear the brunt. It is the people who are the end in the value chain.
Yeah.
They bear the brunt. So yes, it might be at a cost to these guys. They might pay whatever you want to do. You have succeeded.
As a
But
consumer, right now.
fuel will be there will be shortage and all of that, and the value chain. You know how when fuel shorts, the value chain is affected and all of that. So before you go and create any chaos, mess, you must understand that a lot of people are in that value chain that will be affected positively or negatively.
Right. Landmine kills 8 in Nigeria. So when I saw this, first thing, I started to think of a movie. I mean, I thought these things only existed in movies, but...
Anyways, compensation. Whose job was it to protect? Will they face the law? All of these come up anytime I see some of these things. But well, pray for Africa. Pray. Algeria protests France's detention of Algerian consular agents. And again, as I always state, that some of these things must not bring any bad blood between nations. People try to spin it so that it brings some international road to some of these countries and all of that, and we suffer this. But that's that. Coming up, we'll get into the details of this on News Review segment if you ask my guests join me. You want to come by. There's also a conversation around building legacy. We're continuing that this time on the broader spectrum, where we're looking at the corporate setting, how businesses can thrive and become bigger, from just SMEs to whatever it is, but building enterprises. What is the role of everyone, the stakeholders in there? That conversation has come up. Of course, tech and trend is also up. You want to stay with us? We're right back.
Hi, friend. Where are we going today?
Just use your imagination.
Go, go, go! My family is the only thing that matters to me right now.
This is the stuff that Munich dreamed about.
These guys are the best.
GOtv's ready to take you from your hometown to roaring stadiums and even on international adventures. So let's go together, from home or on the go, with GOtv Stream.
Sounds like a great idea.
Woohoo! GOtv. Love it.
Prayer is a daily necessity for daily triumph.
Africa, we must unite.
We are getting Abrahamic rewards, but we are running away from Abrahamic responsibilities.
Where should Africa sit and stand in this new world order?
Africa has the youngest, fastest growing population. That's a blessing, but it's also a challenge.
Yeah.
Who did God describe as the man after his own heart?
David.
Adam.
My experience, nothing short of amazing.
I never believed I'll be able to do this. Dominion TV's Emerging Leaders program has taught me skills about marketing in a corporate setting.
My name is Danny Glover, and you're watching
Dominion TV.
Season is up and running. Save! Spain are the champions of the world!
Sports Break on Dominion TV.
So much love in the air. What are we looking at?
Thank you guys for joining us on this unforgettable night.
Paw Patrol is on a roll.
It's Max Verstappen in the lead. The megastar is here.
Absolutely sensational.
Let's go!
Just taking a trip down memory lane.
Get unbelievable entertainment that is unbelievably easy to own. Get and stay connected to DStv.
We go around just making statements that are not even biblical. God reveals to redeem. It's not in the Bible. God reveals so we can walk, so we can enforce the word of God and the scriptures over the enemy's intent. Any hope and expectation the enemy has concerning your family and your loved one, by the eternal blood of Jesus, we override that hope. We override that expectation. Put your hands together and override it.
The Voice of Inspiration, weekdays and Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. only on Dominion TV.
It's good to be with you, and thank you for tuning in. Today, I want to talk to you about one of the 5 series of some of my books that have been released. The Bible said, you err because you know not the scriptures. There is something about having understanding through the study of the books. This book, Beyond the Valley, that deals with mastering of faith, the mastering of the test of love and the test of character and the test of faith, I believe, will impact your life. So many people struggle at the place of the valley, at the valley, at the valley. But the valley is not a bad place to be. Whenever you find your place at the valley, realize that the next place after the valley is your journey to the top of the mountain. There is no way you can climb a hill or a mountain in life without going through the valley. So when you find yourself right at the place of a valley, it's an indication that you are bound to begin your journey of climbing the mountain or the hill. And so never be afraid when you find yourself in the valley. Every now and then, before you climb a mountain, you will go through a valley. And the valley is part of the process that we all have to go through before we get to the top of the mountain. And so if you are in a valley in your life right now, don't be afraid. Don't be despair. For the prophet said the other day, he said, my enemy, rejoice not over me, for when I fall, I will rise again. Most times when you are down in the valley, it's like that is the end of it, but it's not. That is just the beginning. You will rise again and you will begin your journey from where you are and climb. So get this book, Beyond the Valley, a test of faith, love, and of character. To impact your life, it will give you keys to longevity. God bless you.
These holidays, you don't need to go far to find the best entertainment.
Exactly.
All you need to do is stay connected to DStv.
Yes, please.
Whether you're at home or on the move, make it a holiday to remember.
Lewis Hamilton leads on Ferrari debut.
Because these holidays, it's your moment to enjoy the best entertainment.
Great.
Thank you guys for joining us.
So get and stay connected to DStv to enjoy every moment.
Welcome back. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for staying with us. This is a news review segment. This is where we get to share with you perspectives of our guests who have joined us. For most of them are professionals in their own rights, but of course by calling, they are men of God. Reverend Xavier Demoji is a clinical engineer with the Lekma Hospital and also an assistant pastor with the Action Chapel International at Teshi. He joins us in studio. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, good morning.
Absolutely. Also via Zoom joining us is Reverend Nanaya Bafo Boni. He is a builder or an architect by profession, by calling, a pastor with the Eagles Network International Ministries. He'll be joining us pretty soon. And so while we wait for him, let's get in there. Over the weekend, again, how I thought this issue of Reverend Tim Forger will come to an end because there are more pressing issues than some of these issues. I'm not saying we shouldn't talk about it, but as much as possible, once we have spoken about it, I think we could have left it there. But fallouts again, and how I wish we didn't spend time talking about it. But on the sidelines is one issue of arrests. The Director of Strategy and Research and Communication Division at the Office of the Special Prosecutor has clarified what the law says in Section 10 of the Criminal and Other Offences Procedure Act, Act 30, with regards the specific situations in which law enforcement officers can legally arrest a person without seeking prior approval from the courts, including instances where even a suspect is caught committing an offense or when there is reasonable suspicion of criminal activity. I don't know why this came up though, because we even have citizen arrest. I could see you doing something on the road, see you doing something on the wherever. If I have what it takes to arrest you, I can arrest you, go and give you to them. So I don't know where it came from, but I'm sure it's about how, brutish it was and all of that. That's why it's making headline. But let me pick your thoughts on that. He's clarified the law, and so we can move on, right?
Well, to me, I think no one is above the law of this country. And irrespective of whoever you are, you must be a law-abiding citizen. And when you default in the law, you need to be engaged or prosecuted in whatever offense you have done. The issue of corruption and crime in the country is very alarming, and it raises a lot of security issues when you look at what really is happening in the country. We have a lot of issues coming up. For instance, the issue of Tim Forger giving evidence that being invited to give evidence, he was not producing the evidence, you know. And a lot of people raise concern why the OSP have to, is that in the NIB, right?
Yeah, it's not the OSP.
Invaded his house to get whatever they have to do. Well, I think that with this issue, I think with the law enforcement, I don't think anyone need to say that, oh, I am resisting arrest because I belong to a political affiliation, or I think I am connected to the presidency, or have some people backing me. You know, you hear some of these issues that police go and they will make some calls and say, hey, you cannot arrest me. But I think that is not fair. In the issue of the warrant, well, we all know why warrants are issued. We have people that come in that are not necessarily authorized. Sometimes there are some whistleblowers, and some 2 or 3 people can just decide, okay, let's invade the house of Kweku to see what really is happening. So the warrant is very important. We cannot overemphasize that people don't need warrant to arrest people, because there are things that happen that anyone at all who is against you can just come to your house. For instance, you are sitting in your house, somebody come, I'm from this, I'm coming for information. I need you to see something to be sure that he has a warrant or he's from the police or something before you open the ambient of your house as a person. So some of this things, we should look at it critically. We shouldn't politicize it that, oh, this, because the moment we begin to bring an issue of politics into issues of corruptions or things that threaten national issues, it becomes a serious issue. So the clarification is fine, but we should know how to manage it, because if this becomes an issue, someone will say that, okay, traffic offense, are you saying that we need a warrant to arrest you? You see somebody committing a crime and a policeman is there. It's not necessarily the person have to be embarked, but if the person has really committed a crime, he needs to be arrested and prosecuted.
I see. Well, the arbitrary use of some of these things, and that's why for elsewhere where you want, the people who always want to copy us to the with the West and all of that, they even have body cameras, and I heard the Interior Minister, so that people will not arbitrarily use some of the privileges that are that they have, and so that there will not be. So when the body cam is introduced, I just want to say it's this, so even if I'm not here, we would understand that nobody should come and tell us that my body cam was not working before I went there. If before you go and effect any arrest, your body cam must be working, so that we see it clear before the court. You present how you arrested the person, whether the person resisted, the force you applied, whether it hurt the person or even killed the person or do it. So the body cam must be working. We are praying that we're able to get the resources to be able to buy that, because it will help a lot, especially in court when these matters are called. But let's move on to other stories, shall we? Mahama launches Feed Ghana program to tackle food insecurity and reduce imports. President John Dramani Mahama has launched the Feed Ghana program, major government initiative aimed at boosting food production, reducing the country's dependence on imports, and creating jobs across agriculture-related sectors. This is what he said. Speaking at the launch, that was at the capital of Bono East region in Techiman on Saturday, April 12. He said, Feed Ghana, and I quote, Feed Ghana is a development project popularly referred to as, I hope I get these words right. A year ago, I don't know what this is, but maybe you can speak the Chi. Is it Chi? Yeridria. Yeridria. Okay, right. To reduce imports from neighboring countries. We'll invest in controlled environmental farming, including the use of greenhouse technology and urban, peri-urban agriculture. We'll do backyard gardening, he said. Everybody will be encouraged to get some land near your house or behind your house and have a garden where you grow tomatoes, garden eggs, okra, onions, and pepper. We've done this before. For those of you who grew up through the Operation Feed yourself years, you remember that your parents used to have backyard gardens. And so when you went to pound fufu, sometimes you didn't have to go to the market. You just go into the garden. You pluck some nyadria. I hope I got that one right. Take some pepper. What's nyadria?
That is garden egg.
Oh, great. Some onion, tomato, and then go and make the soup and pound the fufu. Right. Talk to me.
Wow. It's interesting.
Right.
It's interesting. But I'm really excited about the initiative that the president have put across. You know, this Operation Feed Yourself has been a very innovative project that came some time ago. I don't know why it was halted. It was one, at that time, every Ghanaian was encouraged to do some backyard garden. You can cultivate whatever you have to do. You know, you don't need to go necessarily to the market to buy tomatoes or whatever. You see backyard gardens all over. So it was a way of helping the economy of Ghana. You look at these things have worked. Look at what is happening in Burkina, Captain Tuareg. Look at what they are doing. It's fantastic.
Even elsewhere, I know they have small gardens.
It's amazing. When you travel, for instance, let's say Volta region, you see a vast land.
Oh, but that one is even big. Those are commercial. He is talking about institutions, schools, and your backyard.
I'm coming out with a
vast land there.
Vast land. We can engage into agriculture in some of these things in a broader framework. I remember when we were in school, we were having these farms.
Yes.
The school
they went off.
initiate
went off.
farms. I remember we used to go to cassava farm and harvesting time. You see all of us harvesting. It was interesting. I think we were having a goat or some cow farm also, and it was very good that you see some of the cattle sent to the pantry to be cooked, and it was exciting. But some of these initiatives were just halted.
Yes.
You see, and I think for him to come out with such initiative is one thing that will really bring a revolution in our economy. I think everyone should get involved. It's not just some few sector of people or people that live in the villages. I think we should all get involved. When you look at the modern way of farming, even the way the Akugon Kitikiti project, when you look at even some of the structures for this farming, they are very, you see very small, but it can house about 20 to 30 fowls. So I think everyone should get on board. We should all get into farming. We should do our best to cultivate something. It will really revamp the economy.
I see. Biadela was saying earlier and complaining about land, people living in rented houses. I said that's no excuse. Again, that's why I said someone like Victus, a man who's into sack farming, we'll have to bring him to the studio so that he helps us. He builds for a lot of people. But Reverend Anaya Bafuboni has joined us. Feed Ghana is up. Are you up for it as well, Reverend Anaya Bafuboni? Good morning and thanks for your time.
And my special greetings to all our listeners and viewers across the globe of Africa. Let me say this very quickly. You see, one of the definitions that has been put there for people who don't think right is people who do the same thing and expect different results. So sorry that I may not be sounding very positive on this particular initiative, but there are too many red flags for me. Number one, when I look at, let's say, the amount of money allotted for agriculture in our budget compared to things like good boards and the rest, I am tempted to think that the president is not putting his money where his mouth is. That is to say that we are saying agriculture is going to be our mainstay, it's going to be how we're going to turn the economy around. And yet when you look at how much we are investing in it, it doesn't look like we need as much business as we are saying. Number two, we have just finished having planting for food and jobs. Have we looked at the bottlenecks for which reason this thing was not successful? Put all the corruption aside. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because this is going to be implemented by the same people in the same ministry. Are we saying that just the change of a political head, being a new agriculture minister and a new government, will change the trajectory? So we need to look at the tools and the human beings that we have, that we are working with on the ground, for which reason we have not had as much success as we should have in the agricultural sector. I'm very happy that Reverend Xavier mentioned Burkina Faso. Reverend Xavier, special good morning to you. Yeah. Have we asked ourselves, what is Burkina doing and what are we doing that is different, which reason we are expecting to get that kind of result? Because if you remember very well, prior to election 2024, there used to be a lot of truckloads of these covered vehicles moving across towards the north. In fact, initially we all thought they were armed vehicles that were being sent there to the north to quell any supposed insurrection, only for us to discover that subsequently these things were being covered and they were no longer covered. And these were huge tractors and farm equipment. And Captain Traore was like, anybody that wants to work the land and till it, we have the equipment for you, we have the seedlings, we're going to help you to get the land. and look at it. He's turned the whole system around. Today they have so much to make into. Instead of a glass, he now has a factory, he's processing. What I'm saying is that I'll be more convinced when I see a very comprehensive approach. For example, how many lands do we have in this country that are earmarked for agriculture? Do we have that data? Do we have land banks that have been set aside for this particular undertaking we are doing, where people can access these lands at such affordable cost because the government is going to be there? Do we have irrigation systems that are going to let people farm throughout the year? Are we looking at greenhouse? Are we looking at this sack farming, for instance, that you just mentioned? You see, we should get the professionals on board and think through the thing very comprehensively. I would have been glad if Mr. President has done what he did for the education sector, for the agri, where this particular team has gone out there. We are collecting information. What are the shortfalls of all these agricultural policies that have not been able to bring us to that expected end? How can we deal with those shortfalls? What do we need to put in place? And then let's get it going. This is a complicated project. I know a lot of people who are into poultry farming. Some are into rabbit farming and so on. But could you know the biggest challenge they have? The biggest challenge they have is feed. The maize is too expensive. The maize for making the feed is too expensive. Why is it that way? Because the agricultural farmers there are not being supported to do this. If you remember when we had the AGOA project and we were going to export starch to the United States, we started cultivating a particular type of cassava that has a high yield for starch. It was not meant for consumption. You can't use it for corn fufu, you can't use it for kunkunte. It's just purely high volume starch. We look for that variety, we look for that land because there was a clear market for it. I believe that the time has come where our agriculture must be clearly research-based, it must be backed by data, or we must be very pragmatic in how we do things. Reverend Savior mentioned that with the modern ways of even doing agriculture, there's not too much of this hard manual labor. I'm asking, I think there was once this away man, I've forgotten his name. He became a National Service boss during Professor Mills' time, if you remember. He turned National Service Secretariat around in terms of agriculture. He became such a huge hub. They were having wheat, all sorts of products that were being used. Have we looked at having a particular part of our national service thing reserved for agriculture? President came up with an idea that they'll be doing some 6-month military training and all that. Can we juxtapose that and have some agricultural something going on? You understand? I remember one man who spoke that during the President Rawlings era, when they were asked to go and carry the cocoa sacks and all those things during their long vacation as university students, they now began to appreciate the toil of cocoa farmers and how their input was helping them to get tuition-free education in the university. He said it came to have a certain sense of patriotism. Can we involve our national service personnel, for example? Can we have some agricultural competitions among schools?
Yes, is there.
Understand? Where instead of having national maths and science quiz alone, we are seeing this competition. Who has the best farm? You know what I'm saying? Because we can't national science and math quiz. Apart from Katanka, we can't make any car. We can't even make normal watches. Robotics, we are not featuring making anything useful. But let us get these guys.
Are you sure?
When was the last time we bought a watch that was made in Ghana from our robotics school that we are learning? We are doing very little with it because at the end of the day, we don't invest in production. How many factories do we have that can make somebody's Caterpillar robotics that he has done produce on mass for our farmers to enjoy? Because we have made sure that academia is so cut off from the real world. So people have piles of research, will not finance and turn it to practical things. That is what has put China and Japan and the rest of the people ahead.
I see.
So for me, I am saying that let us have a very comprehensive plan, because if this particular feed our country thing ends up like food and jobs, I'll be extremely upset. Plantain was so scarce that the minister had to now bring plantain to the ministry. They are behaving like little children. What kind of joke is this one now? Look, I went to buy kinky. One ball of kinky, 7 cedis. Okay, and the kinky doesn't look like my face. And you know I don't have a very big face.
I have
There is that everywhere. And we can't get proper things. Kinky is like my face, 7 cedis, so kind out loud. And I don't eat much. What would the poor man do? So the way he does somebody 10 cedis for lunch, if they can't buy pure water.
Okay, so there are a lot of things that I don't want us to belabor the point, actually. But a lot of things that Reverend Anaya said that I thought, when you started, that's why I interjected, is most of these policies are too big. And that's why I'm excited that the institutions, and the mention of National Service Secretariat, yes, indeed, they were even there at the event. And so they are going to be partnering there. So the institutions mostly, where the Agric Minister spoke about it at the vetting, saying that the school farms must return. That's one. And two, the issue of mindset change. Mindset change means that wherever you are, so I don't see Feed Ghana to be one that is like planting for food and jobs or whatever these big ones are. It's just a mindset change where, because I have been considering it for a long time, I have not started because I have a backyard and it's fertile, I tell you.
So I have plantain in my backyard.
So you see.
The tomato I harvested led to my wife starting a business.
So you see.
Which now she produces tomato. So what I'm saying is that
but
this is what I'm doing in my little corner. You know what I'm saying? We should start to have policy where these things are measurable. You see, look, do your little thing in your corner. Today I just heard somebody saying he had gone to a farm place to go and investigate how he can jump onto this particular project. And it's found out that there is no infrastructure to support irrigation, for instance. So they are so rain-fed agriculture. Look, that is 1428. This budget make type of reason. It is long gone. What I'm saying is that, for example, what tax incentives are there for someone like Koku who decides that I'm bringing irrigation equipment into Ghana? Will I get tax-free? Let us stop giving tax-free things to our friends and loved ones. This family and friends thing that we saw in the past administration. If somebody is bringing things that will solar power somebody who is in a remote place so that he can power his irrigation plants, what are the things, the incentives that we have for them? If we have something comprehensively drawn out, then Koku knows that for my poultry, I can go to this place and get this help. For my food crops, I can go to this place and get this help. For my Akantie, look, I'm looking at making a cage, for instance, to start doing grass cutter. Because I hear they're very easy to take care of. Even if I don't sell them. Look, it is going, the cheapest one is going for 850 cities. How much is grass cutter? More expensive than a goat. There's money here, man. So
I see. Right.
It's interesting.
But please, I beg, Mr. President, if anybody is listening, I don't want this thing to be another policy where we are sitting in the armchair. And please, we don't need those armchair statistics.
Right.
We want to see cassava overflowing, plantain overflowing. Even if we won't export it, Ghanaians must eat and eat well.
I see. Anyways, we'll eat well. For me, I'll start mine so that we can take videos of it and come and show people and they start.
I'm also on mine.
Yeah, so we'll come to your house as well, take videos of it because we need to also start it. But of course, let's do, I think we've spoken about a lot more of Galamsey, so let's not belabor the point, right? The National Road Safety Authority has given assemblies in Greater Accra region 21 days to remove billboards from footbridges and overpasses. So that's basically what it is. The National Road Safety Authority is calling on stakeholders, including advertisers, municipal authorities, to work together and comply with the order to ensure safer road environment. What it means is that it blocks the view and, I don't know what it does, what these things do to us, but clearly footbridges, overpasses, and you've gone to fix things. You cannot see people and all of that, but talk to me about it.
Sometimes I wonder how some of these things come up because so when you are driving across the road, you see a lot of advertisement, a lot of notices all around it. It's a bit clumsy and doesn't look very attractive.
Even this, look at this.
It's
blocking what is happening on the other side. And it's not even one. Look at how
it's a whole thing.
Down.
You see, you ask yourself that, what really happened? Because I remember one time I was at church and these assembly people came and were requesting, they brought a bill that we should pay for our signpost that was just by the roadside.
Yes.
And I was asking them why, but finally we have to pay because
as for that
it's a regulation. If they are able to take some of these tolls, they go around enforcing some of these regularities. Why do they wait for some of these things to be all over? And the remover, I don't think it's just going to be a mafia. There's going to be money going to be used in removing some of these things.
Exactly.
So I think, looking forward, I think we shouldn't wait for some of these things to come. We should find a way to sustain it because the way it's become, especially when it comes to election time, people do a lot of advertisement. You see the notice all over everywhere, and it's very bad. It's very bad. I think something like this shouldn't be encouraged, and the law enforcers should make sure that, looking forward, we don't have people just going around pasting some of these notices all around. And I don't know why even the pavement that is left for for vegetation, they put some of, and it is mounted on the on the pavement.
Yeah.
Look at it. So they've already made provision for that.
Well, any take on that, Reverend Ayao?
You see,
I like what Sylvia said. It was very mild with it, but some of the guiltiest people for these things are the same politicians, especially when they hold these their what do you call it, presidential primaries and their MPs, whatever. They will stick their papers on our footbridges. I'm so crazy, man. Koko is so heartbreaking. And they will never remove them after the program. In the end, they will turn on the churches. Look at how the churches have put posters here. You see, it's because the leaders who must enforce the law are showing that there is no law. That is why you have church workers also going to put and post church billboards there. If you have had a chance to travel to any civilized country, what you realize is that billboards are in such a way that they are designed by the council, or what we will call today our metro, and they leave slots on it. So people buy the slots, right? Or they work with advertising agencies. So even the size of your signage is clear. If you enter any proper office, for example, let's say Silver Star Tower or Millennium Heights, whatever, any of these offices on number 1 Airport Square, at the reception, you see that they have a clear bill there, and every floor, the owners of the building have designated a signage that tells you which office is on that floor for orderliness, for all. People forget about road safety. I'm just talking about why can't we just be a little orderly as fellow Guineans? Just a little orderliness. Everywhere there's a key. You see somebody is standing somewhere, then when you guys say, "Me na me did you," why can't we just be orderly? I mean, we orderliness it seems to be very problematic for us to enter a community. When you get a chance, take a view of Ghana sky view on Google Earth. One building is facing here, another one is facing there, this one is facing there, and then go and take a Google Earth view of any developed civilized society, and you will see proper alignment. Buildings are where it is supposed to be parallel to the road, they are parallel, perpendicular, green spaces, reservations. Remember, Sylvia mentioned the islands that are there. The grass is no longer there. They are turned to brown. And you see some of these cattle. Can you imagine the first century? Cattle are passing through the capital city. And then they'll stop on the island, chew some grass, and move. And we all have to stop for them. And it's not the cattle crossing. And even in my own house, in my area here, and I'm opening my gate. And I have to tell my wife, wait till the cattle are coming. Before you know, they enter your house and they come to chew your few things that you are trying to do to help with Ghana's feed ourselves program. You understand? So I think that we just are a people that don't like enforcing the law. Yeah. And the reason why we are challenging enforcing the law is that the people who are supposed to enforce the law are the first to fall foul of the law. We've seen it with Galamsey. We can't stop it because our friends, our uncles, our aunties, political cronies are inside. When we go and we see their faces, hey, you are here, then let's go to the other forest. We enter. Come and see somebody who has built on, let's say, a waterway. Hey, let us leave this area. So that is what we keep doing. Let us just enforce the law. The National Road Safety Committee even have to do this. Some of these needless accidents are happening because of some of these things. Yeah. You are entering a junction and you can't see your way because signages are blocked everywhere. But the program even is more than 20 years ago. The program signages for crying out loud. This is coming. You just watch the signages in town. Next year Easter, those signages will still be there. Easter didn't resurrect again, Abi.
Yeah, the Easter is coming, essentially. A lot of people.
Signages everywhere. You see, really? And then after Easter, he says that they come out of the tomb, and then the signages are still there. Look, let us be pragmatic. Let us help ourselves. Ghana, nobody will develop our country for us. No amount of loans will change these things. And you know the beautiful thing, Kofi? I'm always shocked to find out that some of the most beautiful environments are owned by churches. You check it. Look at it where you're having the program. Go out there. Watch the car park. People park in their right slots. The islands are green. The greenery is there. You understand? The buildings are arranged. You don't get Papa's office running straight into the center of the studio. So I don't know why sometimes we cannot just look at this and just all these people even sit as advisors to this our assemblies and get things done. Because go to any compound owned by a church and you will just see what I'm talking. Go to an Akazo campus, look at it. Where that is run by churches. Go to any Methodist church compound. And then now when we come out, it's like not those Ghanaians attend those churches. Then suddenly people are pulling over here. There was a video I saw this, the guy was moving by a footbridge.
and I think a water tanker was passing. He sprayed the guy very well. I was so happy watching it. I said, oh Lord, may we have water tankers viewing people like that.
I know. I see. Anyway, that's just by the way as well. But I mean, we all must take it serious and also try not to. If you see footbridges and bypasses, bypass it. Please bypass the bypass. don't go and fix that. We don't want your poster and banner there. Go somewhere else and go and fix it. We don't want it. Alrighty. Let's also do quickly the issue of Professor Jampo, who is the CEO for the Ghana Shippers Authority, has been speaking on issues of travel. According to him, he has directed all foreign travels by staff of Ghana Shippers Authority has been suspended, except those ones that have direct bearing on the work of the authority. Even those ones would be economy class tickets if undertaken. He disclosed this in an interview with one of our sister stations. And he also says he believes that he's one of those CEOs, or the only CEO in Ghana at the moment, who travels abroad with an economy class ticket. He says he does so because the current financial position of his organization makes it unethical, unthinkable for him to be opulent. I only pray and hope, and this is by way of your thought, I pray and hope that some of these things are legislated in a way or enshrined in a law, because there's a tendency of another administration coming to overturn some of these things and go back to their old ways. I'm not saying this but I heard Honorable Apenyumaking at some point when we're still talking about the austerity measures, talking about bringing back, building the parliament, new chamber and all of that. So that for me strikes like, so people are saying, hey, if we're doing this, because people are angry, a lot of them say, but those guys enjoyed it, why are you saying we should not enjoy it and all of that? Where do you draw the line to say that? Can we legislate some of these things so that what is the issue of what specifically is the work that is not having bearing on, because it's subjective. It's really subjective.
Kweku, the fact is that when you look at the state of the country now, we need a lot of money. You see, when the budget was read, you could see that most of the state institutions need money for development. And some of these tariffs and these traveling opportunities, when you look at the difference between economy and first class and all those things, apart from the lucrative, the luxury you have where you travel with business class or first class, the money involved is a bit huge. And it's not just one personality, but you get like 10 or 20 people all taking first class or business class, and that is a huge budget on the institution that is backing it. So for what Gampo is saying is a good initiative that we should look at looking forward. But as you said, is it just because he's the CEO that is why he's implementing it? What happens if he's no more the CEO?
Exactly.
Because a lot of people raise a concern, okay, when I was director, I used to travel on first class. Why do you come up that for now it should be economy? And it brings a lot of questions, because they will ask, how come the former director was having this kind of luxury? And now that you have come into office, I have to be subjected to economy or whatever it is. But I think we should all be proactive in this, because if it is it's an strange law that irrespective of whoever you are, when you are going on a government appointment to A or Z country, the ticket is this, then we don't get people manipulating. If you have the money and you think you can afford business or first class, that will be at your own expenses.
Right.
But the company policy is economy. But if you want to pay for whatever it is, that goes at your expense. I think that can be a good one, so that we don't get people abusing the system all over. Yeah.
So I just quickly did this. The average price of a business class ticket can vary greatly depending on the route, the airline, the time of the year and all of that. But generally it's about 50 to 100% more expensive than an economy class ticket. So intercontinental long-haul business class flight might cost between $3,000 to $5,000 round trip, while long-haul international flights can range from $5,000 to $12,000. Economy class tickets can range from a few hundreds of dollars for short flights to thousands for long international routes. So you can imagine if we're just doing a $3,000 to $5,000 round trip, and you were going with 4 others, just do the calculation. As compared to,
it's a lot of money.
God, that bang. Anyways, let me speak to somebody who probably has done business class. Reverend and I are back for mischief activated.
Well, the truth is that you mentioned an issue of legislation. I'm not too sure if these things can be legislated because they really border on ethics, and they are entitlements that are associated with various offices. You understand? So when somebody takes an office, they are quote unquote perks that come with the office, like their clothing allowance, their risk allowance, all those sort of things. So a leader, like for example, may look at the financial standard of his company and say, listen, I want to waive A, B, C, D, E. I have a relative who was once a chief executive of a very respected organization in Ghana, and he opted to live in his house. You understand? So maybe a rent allowance I was going to be giving like $5,000 a month. He was just giving an allowance of, it was like an inconvenience allowance of about $1,500 or something. And that was a huge saving. Then he took a decision, for instance, that instead of having an official 4x4 and then a saloon, which came with the office, he opted for an SUV that could take him on the long trip and he could also use internally. So again, when it came to the vehicles, and immediately he did that, all the other directors opted to go for something on the lower range because they could see leadership taking a certain step and they began to trickle down. So I think it all boils down to the ethics and then the sense of morality of the person in the driving wheel. And that's the painful bit about politics. Look at President Mahama, the modesty with which he came to office, driving his own official Toyota Land Cruiser. I mean, I don't know whether he's opted for an official one now, but for months he was driving his own car, moving around with it. He never complained. He had international travels to do. He asked his brother to help him out. People were like, hey, but who will pay the airport tax? It's a silly question to ask because it's like I'm giving you a car for a wedding and you're asking me who will pay for the driver and the crew. You must be bunking. You understand what I'm saying? So, yeah. You know. You're getting a free car, you're asking also for driver and crew. You must be bunking. So this is exactly what. So we can see a leader mirroring that. Whether those under him will catch that same spirit and mirror it, it's a question for another day. And I really applaud, for example, for taking this step. I don't think we should trivialize it. We are like, oh, but this one, how much will it save? This, that. Yeah. It's not so much about the how.
It's how much.
The truth of the matter is that when you look at it, even in terms of their budgetary allocation, it's a drop in the ocean. Let's be sincere. Okay. But the truth of the matter is not so much about what is being saved as about a principle. You understand that you can't tell people tighten your belt and then you are growing the pot belly that is bursting at the seams and tearing up your belt.
Eesh.
You know, because we've seen that in the past. The government can say, so things are hard. Ghanaians, tighten up your belt, things will get better. It never got better. And when they were leaving power, we saw their cheeks and the back of their head oozing with oil. That was more than our oil fills. You understand what I'm saying? Exactly. And when the camera falls on, you don't know whether it's the lighting in the studio or it's just the oil that is oozing from under their skin. And we saw them before. You understand? When they came in looking like rejected refugees from a war-torn country. So I think that Professor Jampo has done something that I would want to plead with all other SOEs. Our own Honorable Finance Minister told us SOEs are struggling. They are in the red. They are not making profits. Let us follow the key. Wherever we can do some cost cutting to start to move our books from the place of the red to if nothing at all, let's start breaking even. Look, about SOEs. I've not even seen their products. I don't know even what they do.
But they are run at a loss.
It's not the CEO is living large. It's frightening.
And they are, no, that's for me, it's not even the concern. And they run at a loss.
That's
That's what I'm saying, that they are running at a loss. You don't see the impact. And then the CEOs are living like a strike. I wonder, so where are they getting the money from? Is it consolidated funds? Because they're just living the country and so on. And I think that one of the things that this Marilitic also did when he headed the state institution is that he cancelled unilateral entitlements. So, okay, Koku is 5 years, he's entitled to a car loan. And he made it performance-based. So it was now based on appraisal by heads of departments. So you can be there for 15 years. You are not entitled to any housing loan because you have decided to be a lazy drone who was just waiting to enter your 15th year. And I can tell you, the lazy drones that were just hoping that their time has come, they wept, they held placards, whatever, went to the castle to report him, he didn't move 1 inch, and I think that we should start moving that way. Let's stop running this business like Ghana is our enemy. Let's pay a little. If Ghana was somebody said, if Ghana had a sister, she would be so quarrelsome because of how her brother's money is being misused.
I see. All we need is a few good men. A few good men. That's all we need now. Not intelligent men, because we have
like yourself.
Of course, like myself. A few good men like myself. Anyways, let's do the final take on the issue of the Binduri attack, gun attack. Binduri is located in the upper east region. There's a death of a man that has been reported. Of course, that is connected to also the issues of the chieftaincy conflict with in Boku, the Boku chieftaincy conflict and all of that. I don't know. Quickly, the take on.
To me, I think this issue is becoming unbecoming. The death, the shooting, the loss of life, especially in Boku as a result of this chieftaincy issue, is becoming so sad. And I'm not really excited with the approach so far because, one, it's looking a bit political, and I think that aspect should be withdrawn because this is a long-lasting conflict that have existed over the years. And you see, I always say that anytime you see people being killed as a result of misunderstanding, families are involved, relatives are involved. And over the years, I think this is what has been happening. And the way we are approaching the whole thing, I'm not really excited about it because you see politicians going there giving, like recently what the police is doing. I think he went there, the approach was good, but some of the comment is not the best. You cannot assure people that when they lay down the ammunitions, you will give them. I think
said he was taken out of context.
When you listen to the tape very well, it actually points to that. So I think we should look at it very in a holistic way because the issue is the grassroots. A lot of people are offended, and we have to find a way of having a dialogue in that community. Because if we don't really get... I was asking myself, are there no churches there? Are there no mosques there? Are there no traditional rulers? Can't we have a dialogue, invite all these people, and have a reconciliation forum? Because out of the head, people are taking revenge, and they are doing all sorts of things. And it's becoming unbecoming. It's creating a very mild image of that part of the community. And I think all should come on board. I think the Asantehene recently was coming on board to her, but it should be only him. If all chiefs should come on board and say, look, we want this thing to end. And whoever is hurt, whoever is offended, whatever has happened, we should find a way to make a lasting peace in that community. Finally, I think we also need to pray for football.
Yeah.
Apart from everything, I think there's something spiritual.
Apart from it, the biggest, because if it is long-lasting, it's unending, never-ending.
Yeah.
I think
we also need to, the Christian body, we need to raise special prayers for peace to instill in our community.
I see. Well, let's take final words from Reverend Anayo Bafo-Boni. Issue of Boku. We wake up every day to a fight, to burning of a house, slaughtering of something sad always comes from that part of the place. Reverend Xavier says, look, apart from everything, the most important thing to do at this point is to begin to raise special prayers. I'm sure you agree.
Yeah, I agree. And I also agree especially with Reverend Xavier's very pointed observation that We have allowed politics to come. You see, this country, what I've realized is that anything you are doing that you want it to be messed up, just mix it with politics. If you are caught stealing money, just make it political. If you are caught trafficking drugs, make it political. Break any law, make it political, and you will just get away with it. And I think that the politicians should back off. I'm just hoping and praying that the political class has not done so much damage that it will undermine the Otumfuo's efforts in this regard. In fact, if you ask me, I would even have asked that if it were possible, beyond just Otumfuo, to get some of our even eminent chiefs to sit together with him in this matter, to let the people of Boko appreciate that we are in dire straits and our knees are literally on the ground and we are begging. Because for me, it's not so much about the lives being lost is bad enough, but for me, it's a lot more about the depravity that Boko is being driven into. Schools and their teachers are leaving. Doctors and health professionals are leaving. Banks, you see, anything that will make Boko function as a proper developed society is grinding to a halt. By the time all this is over and we want to pick up the pieces, Boko will become like an ancient relic in modern Ghana. Is that what we want? We don't want that. Already you and I know from our history that the North was cut off largely from our development process because of issues of transportation, accessibility, and so on and so forth. Kwame Nkrumah brought in the ability to let them go to school for free and all that to bridge the gap, and this should not add up to it to worsen an already very bad situation. So I really want to plead with our brothers there, please lay down your arms, please listen, and I pray that the Otumfuo's effort will bring in some good results for us. And if it's possible to even co-opt some chiefs with influence and clout, or we have spent their anybody that we can come in, some of our northern chiefs, anybody that has some clout and some historical connection with the Boko story, even though there are some ancient pacts that were signed that will be respected at this time. And politicians, we beg you in the name of God, stay back. Honorable Ayareja's family actually comes from both sides. It's amazing. His mother is from one side, his father is from one side. He's so conflicted, his house has been burned down. And I'm sure they have picked up this battle strongly because people like him are being expected actually. Why are you not doing something for our side? Should he kill his father's people to please you? Should he kill his mother's people to please you? So they are caught between streets and it is very difficult. Then you have a northern sounding name being head of Ministry of the Interior. Then they start to think that, hey, where does this person come from? How will it favor our cause? And all that. I am so exacerbated by what is going on. And I plead, if anybody is watching from there, we plead in the name of God. We lift up the prayers, but let sanity prevail. Because almost, I think ever since we started doing this program, almost every morning, we wake up, some pregnant woman has been shot, some school children. Look, human life, we are not far also. They are being killed for Easter. We beg in the name of God. Let peace prevail. We beg. The children must go back to school and healthcare and everything must return. Please, we beg people of God. Have mercy on the rest of our Ghanaians. We beg you, our brother.
Anyways, well said, and thank you very much. That's instructive. That's Reverend Anaya Obafo-Bonny. Is an architect and a builder by profession, by calling, also pastors the Eagles Network International Ministries. Thank you very much for always coming through for us. Wish you all the best in the week, and we hope to see you soon in studio as well. Reverend Xavier Demoji is a clinical engineer and also an assistant pastor with Action Chapel International. Teshi, thank you very much for your time as well. We're grateful. Coming up next is Tech and Trends. We get to share with you news making rounds in the gospel industry and also some tech news. You want to stay with us. And also there's that conversation coming up where we are building legacy, we're living legacy. We're concentrating on the corporate world for today. It will be interesting, and you will be our guest as well. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Only the best thing ever. Because these holidays, the joy never stops. Picture this. The home is filled with low moments and intense drama from the local shows. With Serie A, Premier League, and even WWE. The kids are hooked up with adventures and fun learning.
Yes! I love pie.
I love you and pie. So stay connected to entertainment anywhere with GOtv. GOtv, love it.
Barca's season is up and running. Save! Spain are the champions of the world!
Sports Break on Dominion TV.
I wanted to make it a surprise.
Why?
I knew the dramatic appearance would excite everyone.
I've been looking for you for a very long time.
Why are you so intimidating?
But just complain that I'm fat.
But you are fat.
Here is my son.
Give me what I want and I will set you free.
Stop! Jesus has set me free. Yes, Lord.
Hooray! Dominion TV is now also a digital terrestrial free-to-air channel. This means you can watch us in Ghana from your digital TV without any subscription. Just rescan your channels on your digital TV to access it. How? On your digital TV, press the menu or settings button and choose auto-tuning, auto-search, or the appropriate options to scan your channels and look for Dominion TV. Enjoy some of Africa's best Christian lifestyle programming from Dominion TV.
It's good to be with you. Thank you for tuning in. I have with me some of the latest release of my books that I believe will impact your life. The snare of indifference simply has to do with lukewarmness, how the enemy has succeeded to cast spells on the church, to desensitize God's people, to cause us to slumber, spiritual slumber. These are not the days to slumber. These are days to be awake and alive and to be on our watch and our guard like never before. Please get this book. It will bless you, to impact your life. It will break the snare and the spell. It will lift the veil of you and it will illuminate the eyes of your understanding and help you to avoid lukewarmness. Because being lukewarm, it's very dangerous. You are not hot and you are not cold. That's what simply it means by being lukewarm. You are not in and you are not out. It's very dangerous. There is no middle ground anywhere. You are in or out. This book, The Snare of Indifference, Lukewarmness. It shows you the signs of lukewarmness and how to overcome it. Get this book. It will impact your life. And as you do so, God bless you.
say signs and wonders. Follow me, follow me, follow me. Goodness and mercy. Follow me everywhere I go. Signs and wonders. Follow me, they follow me. Goodness and mercy. Follow me everywhere I go. I say signs and wonders. Follow me, they follow me. Goodness and mercy. Follow me everywhere I go. Surely goodness and mercy. Follow me. Grace and mercy. Follow me everywhere I go. Metuwe, mkugu wabe mubompe tuodi emi boku. Tamfa jina tuwe nyina empari miyo. Wakane untelo se, sami jino dia.
Okie dokie. I know you enjoyed that conversation with Koko, just dissecting the news and dealing with issues as and when they come. Now it's time for us to get into Tech and Trends, or Trends and Tech, so TNT, however you look at it. And Monday morning's edition is brought to us by C. Ahene. Good morning, C. Ahene.
Good morning, Biatela.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Yes.
Wait, why are you laughing plenty?
The way you said it's brought to you by...
Yes. I know, right? It's proudly sponsored by C. Ahene and the Holy Spirit. Yeah. Okay, now, so what's up for Trends and Tech?
Yes, thank you, Biatela. Good morning, everyone. This is the Trends and Tech segment with me, C. Ahene, right here on Dominion TV's Wake Up Africa. And as you know how we do it, we'll be bringing you some event that happened over the weekend. So don't go anywhere, we'll be right back. Welcome back. This is still the Trends and Tech segment with me, C. Ahene, right here on Dominion TV's Wake Up Africa. And as you know, yesterday we celebrated our Palm Sunday to commemorate the triumphant entry of Jesus Christ, you know. And yesterday a lot of people celebrated it well. So let's check out some scenes from how some churches celebrated their Palm Sunday. Yes, and that was how some people celebrated. Biadela, you were asking if the guy that was riding the bicycle in the church, it's 2025. You'll be surprised, yes. So I really enjoyed, I loved Palm Sunday. So yesterday, I was surprised by the number of people who celebrated Palm Sunday yesterday. And it was...
I really forgot about it. Yeah.
Oh.
So it was when I got out and I saw some people who did Palm. I'm like, oh, Palm Sunday. Anyway.
Yes.
It is what it is. We always remember how Jesus entered Jerusalem and, fulfilled scripture, prophecy. And we also know that as he did, so we shall also fulfill prophecy.
Amen.
Yeah, amen.
I feel the spirit.
Oosh.
Jesus. Let's move away from that and let's come to Accra for the Accra Deliverance and Miracle Crusade that happened with Dr. Paul Eneche and his wife, Dr. Becky Eneche. And this was last week, Thursday and Friday. Let's check out some scenes from there at the LWAC Sports Stadium.
And I don't know what to do, and I look up to you for which way to go. You never fail me. When I don't know what to do, and I look up to you for which way to go. You never fail me. You are the God. You don't know what it means. Everything on the earth may fail, but you can never ever fail. You are the God who can never fail. You don't know what it means to fail. Everything on the earth may fail, but you can never ever fail. You are the God who can never fail. You don't know what it means to fail. Everything on the earth may fail, but you can never, 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 never fail.
Yes, and that was so lovely. So Jesus is still in the miracle working business. It was full of healing, deliverances back to back, and we thank the Lord for showing up. They said whenever God shows up, he shows up big time. So it was really a lovely time at the LWAC Sports Stadium. Now let's come to the Porters City as they celebrated their 10th year anniversary. And a lot of people were asking, what is going on? You see, we had the likes of Ntokozo Mambo coming around, Minister Dunsing Noyenka, Mercy Chinwo. Let's go for the video.
Oh,
yes, so that was some scenes from the Potter City. It was really, really wonderful. I can tell you the number of people who joined the stream, and they were even enjoying themselves and dancing at home. So yes, there were a lot of events that happened over the weekend. These are just a sample of it. And let's come to what will be happening this week. So as you know, from Wednesday to the 21st, the Action Chapel Prayer Cathedral will be having their Easter convention with His Eminence, the Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams, and we should be expecting some ministrations from Bishop Dr. Bernard Odri Asari and Apostle Isi Iganegba from Nigeria. And this is going to be from Wednesday 16th to the 21st. The 21st, we are going to be having some fun activities with the family. The location is at the Prayer Cathedral at Spintex, and the date and then the time is on the screen as well, and there will be shuttles operating as well, so you can call the numbers on the screen, find out where you can join the shuttle and be here for the Easter convention with Action Chapel, His Eminence the Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams. And this is how we draw the curtains on today's Tech and Trend segment. And Biadela, before I forget, so yesterday, Pastor Nathaniel Bassi celebrated his 12th year anniversary with his lovely wife.
But he did it at Porter's.
Yes, he did it
So
at Porter's. So, yeah, this lovely, lovely couple. We thank the Lord so much for this. It's so beautiful. And one thing that also got everyone talking was the wedding anniversary of Minister Theophilus Sunday. I mean, it's just
the same
same
day?
I mean, it's just 1 year.
What, a year?
Yes, it's a year.
I would have asked probably there like 3 months or something. That's how
it's a year, exactly. Everybody was surprised because it was just last year, and we got to know that he was getting married, and everyone was like, the highly spiritual Papa is getting married. But we wish them a happy anniversary. We pray for continuous grace for this journey that they have embarked on. Yes, and this is how we wrap up for today's Tech and Trend segment. Continue to keep your dial locked, sign in, or continue interacting with us on our social media handles at My Dominion TV. And we bring your way a lot of fun and conversations. Don't go anywhere.
I wanted to make it a surprise. Why? I knew the dramatic appearance would excite everyone.
I've been looking for you for a very long time.
Why are you so intimidated?
But just complain that I'm fat.
But you are fat.
Here is my son.
Give me what I want and I will set you free.
Stop! Jesus has set me free. Yes, Lord.
Yo, fam, it's that time again. Finals. Oh, yeah. GOtv, let's go. GOtv, this is too big. The Premier League, La Liga, Champions League, FA Cup, Europa, and more. Finals. Stay connected to catch all the biggest football finals with your best football friend. GOtv, love it.
Barca's season is up and running. Save! Spain are the champions of the world!
Sports Break on Dominion TV.
I want to welcome you to Wake Up Africa Morning Show. If Africa has ever needed to wake up, it's now. I promise you that this Wake Up Africa morning show will impact your life. It will illuminate you. The Bible said that thy word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. You need this insight. You need the understanding required to make all the difference in all of our lives. I want you not just to tune in to the Wake Up Africa morning show, but I want you to be a sponsor. I want you to partner with us as we take this Wake Up Africa morning show, the inspiration it brings, the impact across all Africa, to homes, to individuals, impacting lives. Join us to make a difference. It is said and believed that in this life, what you do to change the life of others matters than what you acquire for yourself. It is believed that it's not what you have, what you possess that matters, but the difference you made in the life of others. I believe as you partner with Wake Up Africa morning show, you'll be joining us to make a difference in the life of so many people out there. Partner with us, and every time we touch a life, you are blessed. Every time we impact a family, you'll be remembered for good. God bless you. Looking forward to partnering with you and tuning in to Wake Up Africa morning show.
Welcome back to the conversation. We're grateful that you can stay with us and be a part of this conversation. We started it off last week, and this is a continuation, or call it a sequel to that particular conversation. It has to do with living of legacy. And let me just give you a bit of preamble. Look, I can't imagine or think of, I have to do my research. I must confess that I did not. But African businesses that have traveled 50 years, 70 years, 100 years, you can count, and they are a handful. The question is, how can we continually, all right, have businesses that travel generations with the values? You see, there are some values and principles that must stay. But of course, the changing of times must be applied so that it's able to travel. There's an art and science to it. And this conversation, we have to have it. Why are you not interested in your father's business? Why are you not interested in your mother's business? One that took you through school, gave you everything you needed, and you think that it cannot travel from her period or generation to yours, I think there must be conversations to it, and that's why we're interested in having that. And to do that, with us, Mr. John Appiah, President, African Chamber for Youth Development, joins us to ask or to answer the question, what next? What next in terms of, if you like, whatever it is that you're doing, your business, can you live that? Would your child be interested in it? If you live it and your child is not even interested in it, can it travel generation? Can it transcend generation? All of these and more coming up. We're going to be opening the phone lines at some point. So you can ask questions and also share your submissions with us. There are very silent watchers, just as mentioned earlier. We want to say good morning to Reverend Ogbami Tete. I understand your dial is always on this, and so a big thanks to you. And most of you are silent watchers. I'll get to find you out pretty soon. But good morning to you, Reverend Ogbami Tete, formerly of Security Exchange Commission. But thank you very much, Mr. Appiah, for coming through.
Thank you so much.
We're grateful.
I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. The other day, we started off the conversation. I mean, it went in and out of it.
Yes.
I mean, the focus was also, if you like, the environment, the working environment, with also much focus on the women and all of that. Today, it's a broad conversation we want to have on how legacies can be lived, how we can mentor people into taking over a lot of things. I ended the question about contextualizing some of these principles. Do you think that what we have seen, the principles that we have seen applied to the issues of living of legacies, also can be brought here, or something has to be done about it. And you were telling me a story of before we came, the issue of your daddy's workplace. You want to share that with me, and how so let's first of all, before we go to the contextualization, let's share with me what the difficulty was in taking over, or how smooth it was, if you want to share that with us.
All right. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I think that legacies are very important things that sometimes, especially in this part of our world, we take for granted. I have often been very aggrieved at the way things are going in this country and then in this part of the world, where people just think about themselves, get as much as they can, and when they leave the scene, everything grinds to a halt.
That's right.
If we are to name a lot of businesses or empires that have collapsed because the person leading is no longer available to lead, it's worrisome and problematic.
Absolutely.
And it's even more worrisome even when the people are alive. And for example, they travel for one reason or the other, everything at the workplace comes to a standstill until the person comes back to actually, let the matters flow and issues flow. So I think that legacies are things that we need to start talking about now. And we need to look at how we can groom and prepare the minds of people to think about beyond themselves. And there are a lot of people that you realize that they are making impact now. They have all the resources that they can gather. But the question is that in their absence, what happened next, right? So for me, the issue of legacy has been something that's always been on my mind.
Absolutely.
And I even think that even beyond family businesses, people should be able to raise leaders in their stead, such that when they are away, they can get competent people to live or to continue the legacy. Look, you'll be surprised that there are some people who are actually happy that in their absence, nothing is going on. Because then you can always refer to them. That when John was here, this used to be a lively show, this used to be this, used to be that. But it is the mindset that creates that problem. So in their transition, even if they are involved in recruiting the next person, they are not too eager and excited about it. So the key things they should look out to recruit somebody that may be able to do even better than them, it is absent.
Right.
And for me, Jesus is a very good example when he says that the things I do, you will do, and even do more than I'm doing. How many leaders can point to their chest and say that they will raise a new generation of leaders that after they are gone, they will do the same things they are doing and even do more than that? Everybody wants to have the name that, oh, this was done by this person. Nobody has been able to surpass this particular record and all that. So I think that for me, the question or the issue of legacy is something that's driven me. And then when that opportunity fell my way in my father's business, I was more than happy to pick it up, to continue with it, because I believe that what was able to take care of us whilst we were young, we will not sit somewhere and say that we are waiting for a white-collar job, so to say, to go and also build your own legacy. We can build on what has already been built, and we can move it into another level. And you'll be surprised, a lot of young people are interested in starting from scratch. And I think that where we have gone, we are far too late to always start from scratch. So we can find existing businesses, existing things, and then bring our flair, our energy and creativity to it and take it to the next level.
In your case, was there a time where, and I'm using your case because there has to be a case study for us to be able to have that context. Was there a time where Daddy was ready to take you through the ropes? Because I guess that would look more like a socialization into some of these things, introduction into some of these things, and so that you are clear in your mind that this is how easy he had it, and how the difficult parts of the business. Was there a way where you were socialized into some of these things?
So honestly speaking, I didn't have it that way. That is why I think that my case is interesting and well studied. So at that time, the thinking is that if you're a medical doctor and you run a business, you need another medical doctor to continue the business, right? This is the case. I didn't read medicine. Right. I did.
So Daddy was a doctor?
Daddy was a medical doctor, full medical doctor, yes. But I didn't do, I wanted to become a doctor. Those days I used to, I did science as well in school. Of course. And I used to be called Lord Bayou, because biology was something that was very, top notch. But at the end of the day, God had his own plans. But the point I'm raising was that I knew he had a business. I knew that from the business, we were able to take care of us. He was able to build and do all those things. So all this while, that thing was in my mind. And interestingly, I bear his full name. So he's John Afezi Appiah the first. I'm John Afezi Appiah the second. But in my plan, I was like, I was going to wait until a time when I thought I was ready to actually give myself into the business to learn. But unfortunately, he died, you know, without any notice, as so to say, you know. So the transition was very sharp, you know, and when that happened, the honors fell on me to also take it up and run. And that's why I faced a lot of challenges. I went through a lot of difficulties. But I'm glad about 6-7 years down the line, it is something recognizable that people come and they are always thanking God that I was able to step in to be able to keep the legacy going.
So what it means is that it had to take your, call it, if not the grace of God, a bit of, if you like, strength to be able to carry through the 6 to 7 years. Other people would have given up.
Of course, of course.
So it means there must be systems laid in place, because you who is watching us today, you don't know where you are going to die. You have businesses. Your children might not be interested, just like Mr. John Appiah did not take the path of his daddy. But unfortunately, he had to leave us and be with the Lord. And then he fell on. So I'm now looking at how it is necessary that systems are built in a way that either children or relatives or people take it over. And that's where my conversation is now drawn to. So are there systems that must be put in place? And would you have been excited that Daddy would have taken you through some rudiments, you know, to be able to take over? And what are some of those?
That would have been the best approach, honestly. And I would have been happy if we had gone through that. Because you see, the advantage that brings is that for the people who are in business with Dad, they will get to know me.
Exactly.
And then for the staff that work with Dad, they will also get to know me. So the transition will be smooth. Because in their minds, very soon, Daddy will step aside and then his son will take over, right? But unfortunately, that didn't happen. Maybe because I wasn't interested, right? But the point is that I had a lot of support from my nuclear family, from the extended family as well. Because you see, with family businesses, they are very sensitive.
Very.
Because everybody wants to lay claim or lay stake in the business. But what
I give your father money. I supported you with land.
I have a percentage share that's not written on paper. Let's see how that goes. You know? So for me, I think that the family's acceptance and decision that, okay, John, you are the young man, you are next in step. We are here to support you. Get the peace of mind and run the business. If you need support, come to us. Let's talk. And for me, that was the foundation that gave me the confidence to continue. But like you are saying, I think that every leader should not wait until you are retiring, especially if you own your own business, before you think of somebody to take over. And it is true, there may be times that your biological children may not be necessarily interested in the business, but there is somebody who may be very loyal to you, who will be very committed and dedicated and forward-looking that you can also pass on the business to. But unfortunately, in our world now, it's difficult to find people like that.
Exactly.
Because they ask, it's not my father's business, it's not my mother's business, let me do it anyhow and go. But there are rare people in the system who show that vision, who show that support, who show that commitment, that business owners are at a point able to hand over to them because they are convinced that this person will not waste this legacy, this person will take the business to another level, and this person will really make the business run, right? So I think that for every leader, especially entrepreneurs who are running their own businesses, you need to start having these conversations. For your children, I think that you have a way of bringing them close to you. I went to a pharmacy we've been engaging with, and then I saw two people that I'd not met before. So I was talking to them to find out and said, oh, our father is the owner of the business. We go to tech, but we're on a break. So we are doing our internship in the business. Wow. I was amazed. And that is how it works, right? So parents will have to consciously help their children to understand that you may have your own vision you are building, but this is something that I have built. I'll be interested. I'll be happy to have you be a part of it. That's right. If you don't want to be at the forefront, that's fine, but you should have interest in it, right? And I think that kind of mindsetting is very important. Look, I tell you, there are a lot of people whose parents may not necessarily have big businesses, but they are selling
sachet
water, cocoa, Hausa cocoa, and all that. And they've been consistent over the years such that they've been able to build out of that. They have been able to buy cars out of that. And they have even sent their children to first-class schools, even outside Ghana. But the typical mindset is that I went to the university, I need to be in a tie. How can I go and stand by the cocoa thing and start selling?
When there was Cocoa King at the time, who was selling, I don't know, what is that business?
That's a good question. That's a good question. Wow. So for me, especially, I deal with a lot of young people, and I tell them that not every graduate will get a 9-to-5 job to do. do.
That's right.
And you need to have your mindset that even if it's within the informal sector, you are ready to bring your expertise, your skills to bear from what you learned in school to improve that business. I can assure you, if we have a majority of the young people looking at that and following that trajectory, a lot of things will happen.
On top of my head, I was just thinking that if Daddy were to introduce, I mean, you are coming from a communications background.
Yes.
So there's a clinic or a hospital, and you have communications.
Yes.
If you were even drawn in at some point to help the issues of communications, it will even help you understand it from your point of view.
Exactly.
So that the transition period will not have been that sharp, you know, and brutish, if you like, for want of a better word.
Yes, I agree.
So you might have then known how the things work, because to be able to communicate to the public or the publics within and outside, you must understand the business.
100%.
So I'm also thinking that even if the guy has not gone to learn medicine, whatever he's going to learn, there's a department in the hospital that will find a need for that.
Absolutely.
And so you bring the person to be a part of it, right?
And that's very important, you know. So where your strengths are, you can build around your strength and still contribute to the business.
Right.
My elder sister is a medical doctor.
Okay.
Right. My junior brother is into the health industry.
Okay.
My cousins and other sisters are also into the business space. Right. So what we do is that we all bring our ideas on board. And since I am more available, they put all that in me and I go out there and I do it.
Right.
And for me, that is confidence, because I know that I have the legitimacy of my family supporting what it is I'm doing. A lot of businesses are thrown into court cases and ownership matters that eventually grinds the business to a halt. But thankfully, by the grace of God, like you indicated, we didn't have it that way. And for me to have the strength of my sisters, my brothers, my family, my stepmom, everybody around me pushing the business, it gives me that confidence. And that is that kind of legitimacy that will allow me to take bold decisions, knowing very well that if my father was alive or wherever he is, he's smiling down because he's seeing that, yes, his work didn't go waste.
How were you able to also draw so you mentioned some loyal people. I don't know whether you can say all of these things, but there are workers who were working there for years.
Yes.
You took over, new to the business. I'm not sure. They just see you and they say, oh, this is the Jonapia Jr., this is the son. But finally, they just see you and you have to take over the business. How were you able to also rope them in outside the roping in of your family members who also had stakes in it? How were you able to roping all of these people to believe in the same vision that Daddy had?
Great. I think that for me, what was very important was that I had to show expressly that I was interested in the welfare of the people working in the business.
Okay.
You know, we have heard stories where people take over other people's businesses and they just think about themselves and they neglect the welfare of the people they are working with. And I can tell you that if you think about the people you work with and they know you think about them and you show it, they are able to offer you support. It will not be straightforward. It will be difficult because they have to be sure that this person we are entrusting our leadership into, he's able or she's able to push the agenda. So the very first few months was me trying to prove to them that, one, I am interested in the business and trying to let them understand that if you don't help me and the business goes down, you don't have a job.
Yes.
So you need to bear in mind that I am here for the interest of the business first, right? And secondly, for the people I was working with or I'm working with to know that I am there for them. I am here to support them. I'm here to listen to them. And I'm here to make them a part of the success story.
That's right.
Sometimes people isolate when it comes to the success story and they talk about just themselves, but you can never do it on your own.
Yes.
You know, so that grace to bring people to the table, bring people to the decision-making table, gives them confidence that this person is concerned about us, this person is concerned about our welfare, and therefore they bring all their skills, all their experience, and all the expertise on board to help you. Remember last week I was telling you that if you as a leader try to show them that you know the business, they will master you.
Oh yeah, some of them will show you.
Of course, you know, so I think that it is important for leaders to understand that if you are taking over another business or you are building an existing legacy, it's important to involve the people around you. I've also seen scenarios where when new people come, they sack old people and bring new people. I think that that's not always the best way to go. Because one, you're going to leave people very aggrieved, people that may have made sacrifices that you don't even know.
Yes.
And in the pain of their heart, when they speak against you, it may have some ramifications, right? So you may introduce new people, but bear in mind that you should be able to work it in a balanced way so that at the end of the day, you satisfy both people.
Thankfully, you and time check is 9:25. You can open the phone lines now. You can call in if you have businesses. Your mother has business, your father has business, or your family has a business, and you are struggling with yourself to either take over. How do you want to take over? Or you also probably have owned business where your children have taken over. You can also call us, share with us how you went about it, for which your children or relatives took over, how successful that was, how unsuccessful it was, the lessons learned. You can share all of that with us. You can call us now and share your thought with us. Thankfully, you were much older.
Yeah.
And served in capacities in businesses. And so some maturity and understanding to some of the running of the businesses came to bear readily. There are people who, when they pass on, their children are either just coming from the university or have not completed. The onus now falls on them, or for the Lord falls on them to say that, well, you are there because there's not been any succession plan that has been built. In your mind's eye, what must be done in this situations so that these people are, if not anything at all, easily roped in, and they can take over with the support of the existing staff who have been probably working over there and have not had the opportunity to run in those capacities.
Very, very, very good and very legitimate questions, and this is why I would like to broaden the conversation.
Please do.
So even beyond, your family or your parents owning businesses, I think that for every young graduate, you should have a mindset that at a point in time you will be elevated into leadership.
Okay.
Right. So
generally,
because
Great.
it could also be the case that you may not be biologically connected to the business, but because of the expertise you bring to the table, your composure, your loyalty, your commitment, you can be thrust into leadership. Right. There's this brand that I recently saw on TV and then social media that for one day had elevated a young person as CEO.
Yes.
I don't want to mention for
absolutely.
But I keep saying that for us as Africans, young Africans, we should not let age be a limitation. Because you won't believe that there are people who are waiting to become leaders at 50, at 60. No, at this very young age, if you prepare your mindset very well and you work very, very hard, you will prove beyond your age that you are capable to make things happen. Right? So right from the onset, from the university or whatever school you attend, have that leadership mindset. That's why I'm passionate about the African Chamber for Youth Development.
That's right.
We need to empower young people to have that mindset. Look, in the Western world, you go to business, you want to meet the CEO, you go to the office and you're like, but this is a small boy or this is a small girl.
That's right.
But they have built a competence over
and when
the
they
years.
start speaking about the business,
So I think that people will need to have that very important mindset that yes, I may not be a leader now, but I am preparing myself for leadership. I am learning about the business.
That's right.
You may be limited to one department, but be broad-minded. Think about the general business. In your spare time, learn what's happening in the other business. Because you see, leaders will come when they show that they are well-rounded people. They wouldn't say that because you're in marketing, you have to be the CEO.
Right.
There can be somebody even in security who may be intelligent, who may be smart, who may show that I understand the business, the decisions, and I'm willing and ready to put my life on the line to make the business grow.
So before you go on, Joyce is calling us from Malam. Joyce, can you hear us?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, Joyce. You're on air. Talk to us.
I want to contribute to your discussion.
Please do.
Yeah. You see, I like what Daddy is saying. You see, I am running a business. I sell water and charcoal. But when you listen to people, I said that the charcoal I sell, when we used to tie the 5 CDs. Sometimes when you tie the 5 CDs, you get 10 CDs or 15 CDs or 20. So they are like, is this a business? The water also the same thing, but I was able to grow the water from where it is and where it is before and where it is now. I want you people to advise the youth that you don't just get up and make it. It's gradually.
Yes.
Today, people come to buy charcoal bag. So I'm believing God that He will take me somewhere.
Right. I see.
So it takes process to build a business. And today's children, they want many income. Because I've listened to a lot of them. They want many. Why are you getting 50 charcoal, 15, 20 CDs on one charcoal? Is it a business? So I I want
Absolutely.
you to advise the youth that it's gradually
process. Right.
Okay.
Indeed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Joyce. You can also call us. Archbishop has a book on process, trusting the process. You have to trust the process. The process, if you skip the process will bring you back. You will go back to the process. By all means, it's a law. It's a law. So you can also call us and share with us. But if you're watching us as well, before Mr. Pia continues, I dare you to go. Start having conversations with your mommy or father, no matter how small the business is, and see if you can apply what you have learned in school to be able to grow it. If you can do that, bro, sis, you can survive anywhere. If you can just lift the business a bit, where the income was or the profit was 15, 20 cedis, and you could start doing a 50 cedis a day or even a week, it increases. You can survive anywhere before you go out there to want to do anything. Otherwise, you and I will still come and we'll be jobless. So we're talking about the system we need to build and all of that.
Yeah. So that's very important. And I like the contribution made by Joyce.
Yes.
You know, it's about the mindset.
Indeed.
So if 15 cedis, 20 cedis over the past 15 years or 20 years, your mother has been able to pay your school fees, has even contributed to your wedding and helped you to get a place to stay. What makes you think that this is not something that you can invest in, right? Yeah. And people should know that it doesn't mean that you're going to put all your eggs in the basket, but you're going to pay attention to it. You're going to contribute to the business growing. And then other things you have doing, you can also do those things on the side.
Right.
But you should be interested in something that has gone past 10 years.
Yeah.
How many even businesses or companies that are set up are able to survive 10 years? So if your mother's small business, your father's small business has been able to take good care of you. I know people whose fathers are mechanics, but they have taken good care of them. They have put them in school. They're like, hey, fitter, hey. I'm not saying go and become a fitter, but be interested in it.
You can change it to a garage. You can build
then,
the thing, let it be beautiful. And the money goes up.
Think about marketing strategies.
Exactly.
Can I talk to the people in my office that, oh, look, my dad is a very good mechanic. Can I speak to the transport officer or transport manager? Be thinking along those lines, because that is what has kept him, and he's ready to leave that legacy for you to continue. And people should be happy that the hard work has been done. For a business to go past 5 years, bro,
that's
small.
That work has
so
been done.
already you have that confidence that if it's survived 5 years, then it can go the long haul, and you should be ready and willing to put yourself to it. And now the pastors are doing it very well.
Okay, are they?
Yes, because you see, you realize that most or some of them have started, in a way, introducing people, or like, I wouldn't want to say close family, but they are genuinely looking at how people can take over from them when they're not there.
Right.
Because me and you know churches several years ago that died with the families.
Absolutely.
And that is what we don't want to happen.
Yes.
And I think that people are waking up to that conversation. So yes, it is something worth talking about. It's something worth discussing. You can have your own professional, right? But think about the other business as well. That business in the informal sector. What can you do? How can you legitimize it? I know people that do Uber and do Django and all that, and they've been able to accumulate so much for themselves, and they now have a stream of cars working for them.
Exactly.
So it's about the mindset, and I think that's why young Africans, we miss it. Because like I said, we want a 9-to-5 job, we want to work with Microsoft and be paid $10,000 at the end of the month with spending money and all that. It may not happen. Some are lucky to have that. Yes. But the point is that whatever it is you find yourself doing, you can make it work.
The issue then about, so we're talking from the perspective of, I think the young person or change the mindset. So let's go to the older generation now, or we who would want to leave something for our children. How do we readily do it in the case of your son or your daughter is in school and he's about completing, doing something else? What are the systems to bring him or her in? Is it internship?
Yeah.
What are those very practical ways to be able to bring him closer to the business, begin to see what the business is really about?
I think on top of my head, the easiest one is the internship approach.
Right.
When they are away from school and they are home, you can bring them into the business and let them be part of the day-to-day business for them to understand it, which is very important. I am also happy we are now looking at it from the point of view of the elderly or the generations ahead of us. You see, most of the time, as a result of insecurity, people find it difficult passing on knowledge and information to the next generation. And this is even beyond family businesses, right? I have heard scenarios where apprentices, when they are learning from their masters, you hear the master saying that, oh, I have taught him everything, but just one thing.
Wow.
Because, you see, sometimes too, the young generation are not grateful. The young generation are not people that you can because the missing trust can create a problem for you, because they know very well. You see, and when people are training others, they are watching, they are looking at the attitude, they are looking at the mindset, and you know that this person, the moment he gets the very last key, that's my end. He will come and kill my business, because he will walk away with every client from me. But the point I'm making is that if we want our older generation to be more secure in passing on knowledge and information to us, then we have to prove ourselves to be trustworthy people, right? Because when there's that imbalance, it will always create a problem. And then also that negative sense of competition. So I am learning under you as a presenter. One day you give me 5 minutes to come and present. And that 5 minutes, I want to take 10, 20. I don't even, when you call me, I don't mind it, because somebody has texted that, oh, John is very good. And at that point, I'm thinking of starting my own show. And that's why a lot of young people have crashed. True. You get the point. True. You should be ready to learn. Right. Humble yourself and be ready to learn. Because the moment you start showing signs like you're competing with your mentor, that's where the problem comes in. Then I'm not willing to show you the other things, because already just the little you know, you have taken everything. Absolutely. You know. So I think these are all very important conversations that will make it easier for the older generation to pass on knowledge and information to the younger generation.
People who are struggling, especially the older guys who are struggling and saying that, well, I don't know about this succession plan thing. Who do they talk to? Who must they go to? Are there people who are there who draw succession plans or take you through some of these things? But before we answer that question, please don't forget, let's go to Medina. There's a caller on the line. Hi, good morning.
Hello.
Hi, good morning. You're on air.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Please, I can see people are talking about legacy, right?
Yes.
And in terms of legacy with business, there should be a primary person who owns the business, right? In order for him to pass it out to someone, right?
Right.
So what of those people who are working the 9-to-5 job for people? How do they pass such legacy?
Okay, that's a good answer. That's a good question.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe let me speak to that. And
yes, it'll come to yes, very important.
So I think that the most important thing is the mindset. I have worked for a number of organizations. I still work for a number of organizations, right? So I think that the 9-to-5 should not be a limitation, but it is about how willing and ready you are to contribute to the success of that business. You may not be biologically related to whoever owns the business. It could even be a multinational. But by virtue of your mindset, your hard work and your dedication and your competence, most importantly, you will have what it takes to rise up the ranks. Yes. It's just a matter of time, right? So I think that people should keep their eyes on sharpening their skills, making sure that their contributions to the table is visible. That's right. There are people doing very well, but they say that, oh, I want to be humble, I don't want to talk about it, and they are just there. Even in appraisals, their managers are mafia in them, and they're like, oh, I've given it to the Lord. No. You have to make everybody see what you bring to the table. Right. Let people understand the competence you have, the value of your ideas that is changing the business. You may not be at the top level, but I can tell you that if you are consistent on that trajectory, you'll be elevated to the top level. Yeah. It may not even be with the business you are with now, but another opportunity may come for you to show clearly what you are capable of doing.
One thing I've also seen people do really is that, and this is also to answer, to add up to what our caller from Medina was asking, the issue about when you do it right, there are people who walk out of the business to start their own businesses and serve as consultants. That same company, because of what you have brought to the table, they know your competencies, will now come to you to consult.
Exactly.
For them.
And that's important, even the way people live business.
Exactly.
Because that's where
banging the door,
burning the bridges, and at the end of the day, you are limiting yourself. Right. So I think that we need to have that at the back of our minds, that it's a very small business world out there. So what if you go to a bidding and the person you mafiaed in another business is the chair of that? Then what do you do? You know, so relationships are extremely important. That's right. And if you build your relationship right, even though you may have parted business or parted ways with a certain business, there's always that opportunity to connect again and be able to get to do business. So we should have that at the back of our mind.
Let's now go to our earlier question about succession plan.
Yes.
Who can we talk to? How do the people get that in place? And how do they ensure that it is indeed done as stated in those plans?
So let me start from this angle. You know, there are a lot of multinational businesses that have an eye for raising the next generation.
Right.
So right from internship opportunities to giving graduate trainee programs, it is an agenda to raise the next level of leaders. And I think that for even individual businesses or people that own their own businesses, something they should think about all the time is preparing the next generation to support the growth of the business. And the multinationals do it very well. So when people apply for the jobs, whilst they are working, their appraisal systems are always sharp and on point. They are picking out outstanding people, and they are consciously training those people with leadership skills to be able to help them grow into the C-suite. So there are some very top-notch C-suite executives who started from the scratch. But by virtue of their hard work and their competence, they were identified and taken through a program that allows them to learn more, sharpen their leadership skills, so that when the opportunity presents themselves, these people will be able to lead.
I see.
So I think that even for Ghanaian-owned businesses and for entrepreneurs and societies that own businesses and all that, they should always be looking at the next generation. How can we train them? What can we do in terms of imparting to them leadership mindset so that they can contribute to the conversation? But if it gets to the point where you are not thinking about all these things, and then there's a vacancy or there's a caller on the line.
Yes,
Okay,
I was even about to allow you to
sure. I'll come back to that.
Conclude. Kojo from Santas is on the line. Kojo.
Yeah. Good morning, Kokurimo.
Good morning, you're on air.
Okay. So I'd just like to contribute to the show. Yeah, so I have this big brother who used to work with my uncle.
Right.
But after the death of my uncle, the nuclear family of my uncle felt like, no, if they continue to allow my big brother to handle the business, it's going to cause problems for them and all that. So along the line, they sidelined him and brought in someone. And when I look back now, you can see that the business isn't doing so well as it is. But there was someone who was working along with this my uncle. That's my big brother. But they've taken him away. I mean, with the fear of, no, the daddy is not there again. If we bring an extended family to it, I mean, I just want to understand how best can, Ghanaian businesses, leave a legacy.
From that perspective.
Even though if it's a family, extended family who has to take over, or I just want education on that.
Okay. So look,
it's part of the plan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Insecurity, like I raised earlier on. Okay. And I cited my example of my extended family and myself all coming together to help me do this, right? So I think that notion of insecurity, especially for, like in this case, he's not directly related, is an uncle, not like the biological father, right? So there are two things at play here: the question of insecurity, right, and the question of competence, and also the question of the owner of the business making a categorical statement
that I
want my nephew to continue to run the business, right? Because when that is said and that is explicitly recorded, then it gives legitimacy to the nephew to be able to keep running the business. And I must also say that there are some family members, when you introduce into your business, they don't care about the business. They don't show commitment about the business. Look, I can even bet you that there are some organizations, even when the father says that this is my son to continue, the people will oppose because the son is reckless, he's arrogant, he doesn't know the work, and that becomes a problem because the other people are thinking about the sustainability of the business, right? So we need to look at both angles. If you happen to be a relative who's given the opportunity, don't think that it's because it's for a relative, you can do it anyhow, report anytime, everyday excuses. You are not committing yourself to the work. Of course, when it comes to the point where it has to be passed on, you will not even be considered because you have not shown that you are competent, you are capable, and you are really committed to make the business work, all right? And I also think that sometimes to it's about managing the family. It's a difficult thing to do because if you're not directly related to the person, people may have a lot of doubts around you.
Right.
You're taking the business to another place, you're going to close down the business and you're going to take care of your family and all that. But you should show that one, the business growth and sustainability is important to you.
That's right.
And whatever comes in, you are open to share with the people around you or the extended family, right? And you should be willing to submit yourself for scrutiny. Because at the end of the day, there are people that don't know anything about the business, but they can hold you accountable.
Yes.
Come and do an account to us at the end of the year, what has happened. But in the case where you are, being a bit difficult to open up and to share information and all that, then of course the extended family will do everything possible to kick you away.
Right.
But this is another scenario. You kick the person away and the business collapses.
It collapses.
Right.
Some people readily want to see the business collapse rather than see the other person do the thing. And that's the insecurity you are talking about. So that brings me to the conversation we were having, the issue of trying to, you said, handpick people or get to see through appraisals, you know who and who is doing better, get them some trainings and all of that. Apart from that, people who own, and you are talking of the multinationals where they are headquartered somewhere else, there are other branches and all of that in other countries. But let's come to businesses where somebody says, okay, I'm growing old. Now I have some terminal illnesses or some disease that I feel that could take my life off at any time, or I'm old, Charlie, I cannot trust that I could live long. Who do I go to see to write what succession plan for me? In what form must it take? Must it be the issues of some family members being on, some other people who are working on there should be there, some money is going to the family, some of them going to some investment and all of that. Okay. Who must they speak to?
It's a good question. In my personal opinion,
yes,
when you wait until you get to the point where you know death is staring in your face before you start thinking about succession, it's a problem.
Okay, that's nice.
So you don't have to wait till you get to that point, right? And the second thing too is that right from the onset, you should be identifying people who are capable to run the business for you.
That's right.
I know a business owner who opened it up and just put in a vacancy on ads in the papers and everywhere that he's recruiting for a managing director. That's right. And this is a person that owns 100% of the business, but he knew that maybe doing an internal search, he didn't get anybody in the family who was willing or capable of running the business. So rather than have the internal person come and run down the business, I will open it up and employ a very competent person who I know by virtue of the competence and experience will be able to take the business to the next level. But I will also ensure that key people in my family are part of the decision making so that this person doesn't throw everything outboard or overboard. Right. So these are things we need to have a look at and start conversing about and talking about. Right. And I think that the issue of business owners becoming conscious on a daily basis that you don't even have to die. Sometimes you are tired. You have to rest for another person to continue running the business.
Right.
It doesn't mean that because you own the business at 120, you are still signing check. God has given you long life, but it doesn't mean that you should still be in board meetings and be discussing and all that. But the point is that you have groomed and prepared a number of people who are potential people to run the business so that even when you are tired, you can step back and bring in this new energy, this new phase to drive the business.
Let's talk about also people, workers in that in these organizations, facilities, companies that believe that I have worked with you, I've been loyal to you, yet you just readily gave it to your daughter or son, and I thought I deserved it rather than that child of yours. The mindset, is that a good mindset to have? Are they legitimate and germane concerns? If they are, walk me through how they also must handle themselves and expectations.
All right. So there's this thing I call an exaggerated sense of entitlement.
Nice one.
And I have spoken on the platform and I told people that the fact that you have worked so many years with a company doesn't mean that you should get a pay rise. It is what you bring to the table, the value you bring to the organization, and how your actions and your work is contributing to profitability that gives you that grounds to argue for more. But there are people that have been in organization, they've been loyal, but they have not worked on the core competence they have. And that for me is a problem. I used to teach in a school that had one family member as part of the leadership of the school. And the person has been there for almost 20 years. But the little time I spent in the school, I realized that this person is not adding value to himself. He's just there on the fact that I am a family member and I am there. So people bypass him all the time and rise to the top, and he's still at that same level. We cannot sack him because he's a family member. But at the end of the day, he's not showing that he's willing to progress and make advancement. So people have to work on their sense of entitlement. And you should know that the world is like that. If you keep thinking that this is mine, and this is the only thing I will do to survive, you may be hit by a problem.
That's right.
So people should be open-minded and discard that mindset that it is mine. I need to have it by all means. And that's why people go out of the books to do everything possible to become leaders.
That's right.
And unfortunately, they become leaders and they run the business down. So that exaggerated sense of entitlement has to be worked on. And number two, you need to prove. So I keep telling people that even if the boss doesn't call me to succeed him in the business, I know the competence I've built, I can work anywhere on it. There are people, as I talk to you now, they cannot leave their businesses because they have not built themselves, they have not built a network. They may be competent, but they don't have any network. Beyond the businesses they do, they don't meet people, they don't talk to people, they are not on LinkedIn, they are nowhere. So they are stuck with the businesses, even though if they had positioned their mindset very well, build the right network, it's just a matter of calls, right? And I keep telling young people that the business you're working with today can sack you.
I was coming to that point.
The business can sack you. Maybe because the business is not doing well, we have to close down the business. There's a situation I'm witnessing currently where a business owner has to close down one department because it is not running profits. And unfortunately for the people working in the department, their mindset was limited only to that department. So even when the business owner says that, oh, Charlie, you guys, there's no way going on, move to the other departments, they are reluctant.
Yeah.
And now the business has closed, so they have to go and sit home. But I can assure you, if there were people with open mindset and they knew that business is not coming in this department, let me just find somewhere else and then still show my value, they will still be in business. So that thing for me is very, very important.
That's right.
You should build yourself, you should be ready to work, and at any point in time, bear in mind that you can be sacked from your work, the business can collapse. But if you are competent, if you have a good network, I can tell you, you will always find a job to do.
Then comes to the issue of whether or not after employing your son, your daughter, you are also still alive, or there's a system working. How do you hire and fire your own daughter or son? And would it be fair that the system you have put in place, indeed the succession plan, is able to fire based on competence and all of that?
100%. So that comes to building legacies through systems and processes.
That's right.
Very important. So you put him in charge of the business, but you also have another board which is independent that have the power to scrutinize and call for accountability. So if your son or your daughter has that mindset that it's my father's business and that is it, that's where the problem comes. So I really believe that entrepreneurs will have to look beyond just their family.
Right.
So imagine you have put into place competent management team members and you've put into place a board that supersedes or looks over the business. Then there's a line of accountability. So in the case where your son or daughter or biological relation is grossly pushing the business down, the system will just move the person out of it. Very, very important, because if you don't do that, the business will die.
Yes.
And I keep telling people I work with that the business is more important than any one of us. Because if you don't see it that way, you will always have a problem.
Right.
So the systems and the processes you put in place as a business owner will check what is happening. And I think that is where we run at a deficit in this part of our world, because one person can wield so much power. And at the end of the day, can draw everybody down. But you have systems in place. You are the managing director. But remember that the managing director, there's a CFO who's not even a blood relation, who's thinking about the business. So if the MD tells the CFO, write this check for me, it's like, boss, this one, then don't go there. This is the principle. You know, so the checks and the balances you put in place will help the business to grow. And if those checks and balances works very well, you don't even have to fire your son or daughter. He will bring the resignation letter because they may not have that ambit or that free space to pray, because they know that the system is checking them. So as for systems and processes, you need to make a conscious effort to make that a part of your business. Especially, even whilst you are alive, sometimes test your system. Go on a 2-month break or a 1-month break, holiday, New York or Chicago or somewhere, and go and relax, or Volta region or Central region. Just go and chill and see if the business can run without you. If you cannot leave your business for more than 2 weeks, then there's a problem.
Yeah, think that's instructive. That's extremely instructive. I know of businesses that they'll sit at the table and make sure that they put together the code of conduct and ethics. So much so that you were part of it. Everyone is part of it. They all contribute to it. So that once you fall flat, you say, you were here when you said it. It is written. It is written and you are part of it. And so, I mean, let's talk about your final words before we draw. I mean, it's been a wonderful conversation. I'm sure there are a lot of silent watchers. Don't a lot of them. You have no idea. But talk to me about your final words about living legacy as far as a corporate. This conversation has to continue. You have to definitely. Yeah.
So one of the things I'll talk about is that young people will really need to show themselves worthy of leadership. Which is very important. You may be young and exuberant, but don't be irresponsible. You may be young and gifted, but if you lack that mindset of a responsible person, it will come back to hurt you. So my first word goes out there to the young people out there. The generations that are coming after us will do better than the generation that are ahead of us. We need to understand that. But we should prove beyond every reasonable doubt that we are trustworthy. We should prove beyond reasonable doubt that we are competent. We should prove beyond every reasonable doubt that we are ready for leadership. Unless we get to that stage, it will be difficult for leadership to just be handed over to us on a silver platter. Secondly, for the young people that have happened to rise into leadership, they need to set a good example that will keep opening the doors for other young people. Imagine when a young person is elevated to a very powerful position and messes up. It becomes a standard and people say that, because Kwame went there and messed up as a young person, I'm not willing to entrust my business in the hands of a young person. So for the young people in leadership, the responsibility is on you to set a good example such that it will open the doors for other young people. Now to our older generation, we need to have this conversation. It's not a competition. We are here to support each other. We are here to work together. I don't have any intentions of undermining your authority because I may appear better than you. But I'm working together with you to build a business. I'm working together with you to build a legacy, right? So if the older generation have this mindset that let's pour out ourselves into the upcoming generation. Jesus was a young man, 33 years, but he was able to raise about 12 people that he used to change the face of this earth, right? So leadership is not again about how old you are, but your willingness to pass on that legacy and to equip and empower people to be able to do that. So we appeal to the older generation. Give us that opportunity. Some of the board meetings, take us, let's go and sit in the board meetings. Let us observe. Let us take notes. Let us learn, right? High profile meetings. Sometimes go with us. You are traveling outside the country for a business meeting. Find one young, competent, sharp person. Go with the person to the meeting. You are giving them exposure. You are training them. And by the time you realize, these people are ready to be able to take off when you leave.
That's good. Mr. John Appiah is President African Chamber for Youth Development. And on that note, I think it sells you so well. I mean, it just tells you where you are coming from, youth development, and of course, being able to understand both. It's also a fact that not everybody can start a business. Some of us would have to work for people. You have to work, rise through the ranks, and then get to the top of the business and retire with it. And we have, even with churches, we have seen it, people serving people till they die. So you must know where you are, where God has called you to be and all of that. We're grateful. Thank you very much for making it a very interesting conversation as always. Mr. John Appiah, once again, is President African Chamber for Youth Development, joining us to do that. I'm sure you enjoyed it as well. You've learned something. Make sure that you connect with us. Do business with us. You can also bring your business. We don't just talk about all the issues. Reverend Team 4 Joys every day. No, we don't do that. We talk about these very productive ones that give rise to people who talk. I mean, you can tell what was oozing out of the man that is going to be productive. Tomorrow we're back to do it all over again. This has been Wake Up Africa. It starts at 6:30 a.m. You want to also enjoy our programs. There's also a movie at 1 p.m. There's a lot more coming up as well. My name is Kofi Mausiuso.